Goodness. All right. Well, welcome to the week. I was gonna start, but this is what my phone's doing right now. Yeah. Oh, there it is. It finally did it. I was waiting for like 10 seconds straight, just in silence. Like, all right, when is it gonna actually like match up to what's happening? Like right now, I'm still holding the phone in the freaking thing. Like that's what I have to deal with from time to time. So found a new spot to record. This is obviously like my closet, so I can't do much about this. This is like my technically it's my little dining room area. It's basically the junk spot because I have just junk here. But as you can see, it's a bunch of boxes and stuff like that. So there are a lot of boxes here for things that you probably haven't seen yet, that I probably haven't talked about. Obviously, like why talk about a PS3? I have one. That's really it. Other stuff like that, Rock Band. Don't set it up. Little things like that. So if you guys saw the end of the last one, it was I filmed it earlier today, so I'm wearing the exact same thing for anyone who is randomly jumping in at week 7. Should be week 7. I pretty much talked about how it was like a crazy, like not too crazy, but like I actually went outside yesterday. I went outside on Saturday and did some stuff, and then I was just annoyed going through and editing, and I finished editing today for my first episode of Tabs. I went through, I edited some of my Resident Evil Resistance video. I only did it like half. I did like halfway. Like I dealt with the audio issue, so I synced up all the audio, which took forever, especially with all the stupid pausing from the program. So once I did that, I was just pissed off. Like I was so annoyed. Like the whole day, I was just mad, and I've been incredibly stressed out. And now like my freaking lymph nodes apparently are swollen. Like I woke up and I was like, oh, my jaw like feels weird, and I felt like this bump on my neck. So that's like, oh, that's interesting. And of course, when you look up anything on the internet, it's like, oh, it could just be stress, which Occam's razor, simplest solution is probably the answer. Definitely probably related to stress for sure right now. Stress, fatigue, lack of sleep, me just trying to get on my sleep schedule has been a thing. I mentioned I did I've been doing like a dream journal recently. Like the last 3 days, I've had dreams. I've had dreams. I've had dreams that I've like written down in a book. So I'll do that tomorrow actually, because I have more than enough to talk about now. But I woke up and I was like, oh, that hurts. So I looked it up and it's like, it could be stress, could be fatigue, or it could be HIV or cancer. So it's just like a myriad of things. I would assume once again, Occam's razor, just to not freak myself out even more, because it's not like considering how things are, I can just be like, I should probably go to urgent care just because, it freaks me out. Never happened before in my life. But if it's stress related, I wouldn't, I'd be like, yeah, that makes the most sense. Stress and the past couple of days in general, my sleep schedule's been way off, but I've been trying to force myself back to a normal schedule because in about a week or two, I'm supposed to be going back to work. We'll see if they extend it again after the 15th. So we'll see what happens, quarantine wise, but supposed to be going back to work. I would assume on the 18th because it ends on the 15th, which is a Friday. So I'll probably be back in work on the 18th. So we'll see how that goes. But I've been trying to get my schedule, kind of in order. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was messing with me all day. And this side has had more of an impact than this side. Like I can feel this side a lot more. Like just touching it like right on the edge, I can feel this bump a lot more than this one. I have to press in a little more for that one. And earlier, because another thing, when they like swell up, it can be from a sinus infection. And it was interesting because I've had this weird issue kind of just for a while now. It seems like it only really happens when I go to sleep or if I get high. I think I mentioned before, I have this weird thing, like if I eat an edible, my nose gets stuffy. It's the weirdest thing. Like it's pretty much guaranteed. Like I get stuffy. Like it's weird. But I've had this weird issue where at random, my nose will get kind of stuffy, particularly when I'm going to sleep. Like when I get in bed, it'll be like, oh, my nose is suddenly stuffy. Like just out of nowhere. Whole day it'll be totally fine. And then I get to bed and it's just like, huh, that's odd. So it actually happened while I was in here like editing, and it was on this side, like it was this nostril. And I was like, it normally doesn't happen typically, like when I'm up and awake. So I was like, maybe it really is the sinus infection thing. I've had my little phlegm for like weeks now, and I think that has to do more with the fact that I haven't actually been out in the sun. Because typically, like actually I do have like perpetual phlegm, to be honest. I tell people that all the time. Like that is pretty much a thing with me, and my stomach is like growling. So I do tend to have like perpetual phlegm. Normally it's not to the point where I'm like like that. It's normally a little bit lower, but it is typically that. It's like the classic phlegm. So I do have like perpetual phlegm, so I haven't really been thinking about it. It seemed a little bit worse being in here. It hasn't been like I've had a fever, I'm not even remotely worried that it's the virus or anything like that. It's genuinely just like I have like a cough. If it seems to get worse, then I freak out a little bit, like anybody does. Like, oh, my throat feels slightly funny because maybe I talk for a longer time one day than another, and then you're just like, oh, and it's like, oh, well, I did speak a lot, so it's that sort of thing. But yeah, that was definitely new, and I was like, whatever it is not good because it wasn't there. I would say the stress is probably the most likely cause. But I want to get that checked out, especially reading down to the end. It's like, it could just be this and your sinus infection, this, maybe it's HIV. Well, that's pretty bad. Maybe it's cancer. That's also really bad. So I now, obviously once that's in your head is, it's a classic thing. Like you look up what you have. It's like, oh, my arm hurts a little bit. Oh, you're dying. It's that sort of thing. So I haven't enjoyed that throughout the day, but pretty much all I did today was sit in front of the computer and be stressed out. And I was trying to be calm, but I was going through this editing thing, and I'm like, all I want to do is just sync up this stupid audio where, my first batch of videos that I did takes a couple seconds. Like, oh, if the audio wasn't loud enough, if I didn't do it right, it doesn't all sync up. I just drag it, and it's like, okay, yep, that matches. And now I have to do every like couple of minutes, I have to be like, all right, now it sounds a little bit off. Cut this, drag it back. Okay, yep, that sounds off. And do that. And that takes forever because, of course, it freezes. And then, actually, that's really it. Because even if I had to do that and it didn't freeze once utilizing the program, it would probably be a lot faster. But, of course, it's not for me. So, went through, did half of that, and then I was like, I can't do anymore. I will have a meltdown if I keep editing. So I just stopped. I stopped editing. I was starving. I ate like 3 hot dogs, and then I finished up my edit. And I was like, I'm going to actually eat, which admittedly consisted of bacon and eggs. I cooked the last of my first pack of bacon, and I cooked all my eggs. I cooked 6 eggs because I only, I was cooking bacon. It's not like that's going to fill you up. So I think I had 5 pieces of bacon. Pretty good. It's bacon. It's delicious. And then I cooked 6 eggs, and the eggs were really good too. So I was like, okay. And I felt really good. I ate, and I felt a million times better. I was like, life is way better now. I just stopped editing. I was like, I'm just going to watch YouTube and do this. And I even blended up some fruit today, which is really good. But that's pretty much all that's happened. I still haven't opened my little thing. If you didn't see the last vlog, I actually got the DJI Ronin SC. I was about to say CS, but it's the SC. So I got that. I also, for anyone who has been kind of following along on my journey, I did figure out what happened with the GoPro thing. Because, for anyone who's joining in, bought a GoPro. I got the GoPro 8 the same day I bought the DJI thing. So the DJI is in. The GoPro 8, I think I got the email today actually. So the GoPro 8 has shipped out. That was either yesterday or today I got that. But that should be here within a couple of days. So that shipped out. But I had this crazy issue where I was trying to get a bunch of stuff from GoPro. I was trying to get a battery plus the charger. I was trying to get the screen protectors, the housing, the deep dive water case, and the roll cage. And I was going to get the GoPro Plus subscription thing. And for whatever reason, it technically went through on my card. And it was like, hey, here you go, pending. But I got no confirmation, none of that. So I went on, I talked to someone on GoPro. And they figured it out for me. It was like, excuse me, basically the orders were canceled. It'll obviously fall off, nothing's going to actually be charged. It'll just fall off a pending in a couple of business days. But they basically just let me know, make sure you get the subscription first, because that's probably what messed with the system. Because when you get the subscription, for some of the stuff, I got all the accessories, specifically the ones you actually attach to the GoPro. Those accessories actually get halved or something for price. So I think because I did that, and it was okay, I'm getting the subscription, and because of that, I'm getting half off of these items, but I don't have the subscription yet, so technically I shouldn't get half off. I think it screwed up the system. It was well, he should get half off, but he hasn't technically registered for it yet, so he's doing it all at once, and I think it threw the system off, so nothing actually happened. So I went through after that, making sure that I wasn't spending twice the money. So I was all right, that'll be back on my card. So I did actually buy all the items. I got the little subscription thing first. I was like, cool, that's set. And then I bought all the items that I wanted to buy. I wish it was half off for the battery and the charger, but sadly that one was full price. Everything else I got was, a decent chunk off. So I was happy about that. I was like, cool. that'll be here. I'll have my screen protectors and I'll have the roll cage, so I'm not freaking out about like what is and is not protected on when I'm using this freaking GoPro. So I'm happy about that, and I got the complete dive case, for like half off, and I didn't have to get like a knockoff version from Amazon because that was my main fear. Was like, do I want to get the knockoffs? Do I not want to get the knockoffs? I really don't, because I'm buying like this, for me, very expensive camera. So I was like, I want to pay the, overpriced amount. And then I was like, oh, they give you a 30-day free trial and everything's half off. So I was like, I'll definitely do that because I will not buy any of the other accessories. I knew exactly what I wanted, and they're like, that's not going to change. I might buy like an updated version of the chest mount because it looks way better now. But I bought one of those super cheap things when I got like the GoPro Hero 5 session, like the little cube. So I got like the 20-in-1 pack and stuff, and they all work for the same GoPro, even up to today. They're just kind of slightly cheaper. They might be a little bit older than the models they currently use, but they all work just fine. So I doubt I'll be upgrading, anything like that. The only thing that I really want to get that I don't have already is actually the mouth thing. I didn't even know that was a thing until I was, watching, like, get these top 10, all the freaking videos, tips, tricks, accessories. I've seen so many GoPro videos. I should basically know that thing in and out by memory. But one thing I saw was the mouthpiece, and there's two versions. Like one I saw is like the normal black one, but I saw another one that was basically it was like a full mouth guard, and it even had like a little tunnel so you could actually breathe while you were holding it, and it was almost like a snorkel version. And I was like, that one's really cool, and that it's just more useful. It's easier to hold on to, like your jaw doesn't, you don't use as much of your muscle. Like it kind of just sits in your mouth because it's resting like between your teeth and not just like right at the front. And I was like, I definitely prefer that one because I noticed, and this was something once again I never thought about. So sometimes the tips and tricks help, but seeing that mount, I was like, oh, having it like in your mouth is a better perspective than having it above your head, because it's always like that weird thing where it's like you can always just tell like it's a little slightly off, like it's just a little bit off because it's like, everything just seems a little bit further away. And I notice when people use like the mouth part, it just looks a little bit close, like it just looks more natural to me, and I was like, it's a little bit closer to the arms. It just looked different to me, so I was like, I love that, so I want to get that. So I need to look that up. Excuse me. But that's pretty much it. So solved the GoPro problem, which is great. Hopefully that'll be in. It should be in sometime this week. I knew that it wasn't going to be 2 days. Although I'm surprised the DJI thing. I think I got that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did buy them the same day, and that actually did come within like 2 days. So I was very shocked by that, because I was like, I don't expect either of these things to get here with like, free shipping, 2-day, and super fast. I was like, it's fine. It'll be here, sometime next week, because I think I got them. I technically paid up for them on like Friday or something. So I was like, it's fine. They'll be here like next week. And then the DJI came in yesterday. So I was like, oh. And so it must have been Thursday, because there's no way that was like one day. So it was either Wednesday or Thursday when I actually paid for them. But I was like, oh, I didn't think that was it. I thought it was a totally different thing that I got, which I paid for before I even bought the DJI thing. So I definitely didn't think the DJI was coming in already. And that really surprised me. And I cut it open. I was like, holy crap. And like, I was just really shocked, because I was like, oh, I know what this is, because they don't mark the outside. It was just a normal box. So I was like, oh, I know what this is, because I paid for it like at the beginning of the week and not 3 days ago. So that really caught me off guard. Like DJI is like, nope, virus or not, here you go. You paid for it, you get it. So I was like, that's pretty awesome. So I love that. That was great. So I get to test it out early. It's probably going to be a minute before that happens, because even though it is Sunday and it's been a really shitty day, tomorrow's going to be amazing, because tomorrow is Star Wars Day and I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm going to edit eventually. I'm going to finish that Resident Evil video, but that won't be until later, because Clone Wars comes out. I would love to watch it at midnight, but sadly it's midnight California time, so I'd have to stay up until like 3 a.m. And considering I'm trying to get my schedule, kind of back on track, I'm not going to stay up until 3 a.m. to watch the show and then do like an insanely tired and sleepy review. So I'll just wait till tomorrow. Now I think about it. I thought about it when I ate, but I just thought about it now. I kind of wish I didn't cook the rest of my eggs, because that was the last of my breakfast food. I have frozen fish and frozen shrimp, so I might be doing a nice fruit smoothie in the morning, because I'm not about to cook fish and shrimp. I'm not about to defrost fish and shrimp in the morning and then cook that and then watch Star Wars. So it's going to be a hungry moment, but I'm going to watch Star Wars. I set my alarm to wake up, because I mentioned last week, I'm going to try to get some of those keys. I really, really need the money. Not because I've been buying all my stuff. That, it helps balance that out. But for other reasons, mostly the reason that causes me stress. I need the money. So we'll see how that pans out, because that stuff is supposed to go on sale at like 7 a.m. once again California time, so it's 10 a.m. here, which is good for me. A little bit easier for me to wake up. We'll see what happens, because if I wake up tomorrow and like my whole head is like frozen in place because these lymph nodes have like expanded and I'm like paralyzed, we'll see what happens, because I am admittedly freaking out about it because it's literally never happened before. So we shall see. I'm gonna try to not be super stressed, but my life is shit right now, so it's not a guarantee. But I do look forward to tomorrow. Like, even if I don't end up getting the keys and stuff, and I do end up like totally sleeping through my alarm, which I could do, because I might forget I even have it set, and I could put my phone on silent, because I do that at night so that I don't get notifications and stuff that wake me up, because I'm the type of person, like, if one random thing hits me like just as I'm about to fall asleep, I'll be wide awake. Like, I'll hear it, and it'll pull me right out, and then I'll be up for like another 3 hours straight before I can even get close to like falling back to sleep, which I hate. But I'm just that person sometimes where it's like that little noise and it'll just wake me right up, and I'm like, I was so close. And then like, somebody will text me like super late at night, or I'll get like one of those stupid super late email notifications. Like, I get that a ton on my phone. Like, I'll have an email that technically was sent to me like 5 hours ago, and then it'll just be like boom, and it'll come in at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then it'll just wake me up, and I'm like, cool, the GameStop power ad came in. I don't care. So then it wakes me up, and I'm just stuck up because I heard that one noise go off, and then I'm screwed, for the night. So I guess I'll just have to deal with that. I will have to deal with that so that I can actually get my alarm, because unfortunately, my phone does not have a setting where I can turn everything off except the alarm. Or maybe it does. It probably does. It should, but I know I had that on my last phone, and there's something with this one where it doesn't have that. I don't think it does. I think I have to leave it on, because my last phone had a thing where it was do not disturb, and you could put it like only special calls could get through. So if someone had to start, their calls would go through with volume, or you could put it on do not disturb, but all your alarms go through. And this is kind of normal. It's just like do not disturb, nothing happens. So I'll have to see. I might just have to have my phone all the way on, but that's pretty much been Sunday. I look forward to Monday. I think tomorrow's going to be really nice. It's sadly the end of Clone Wars. It's bittersweet. Any series finale for a show that you love, which I think this finale has technically been like 10 years in the making, because this show had like 5 or 6 seasons, and I think like the lost episodes, which was season 7, or maybe that was season 6. No, that would be season 6, because we're currently in season 7. So season 6 were like the lost episodes that were on Netflix, and then that was like 4 years ago, if not more at this point. So this show, like this series finale, technically has been like 10 years in the making. It's a really weird thing, because it's like when you actually watch a show and it's like, oh man, I've been watching this show for 10 years. It's different than, oh, I watched that show for like 6 years, 4 years ago, and then it was revived, and now I'm watching the last 10 episodes. It's a weird thing. It's like, it's weird to really think of it in that way. Like, this show started years and years ago, like before I was even out of high school, if we're going, like 10 years. So it's really, well, technically, if it was 10 years, it would be the year I graduated. So, it was like, my last year of high school would have been when the show started. And then I went through, graduating both high school and college, and being out of college for a couple of years now. And it's like, now Clone Wars is ending. So it's really weird. It's like, I haven't been watching it for 10 years, but I have been waiting for this conclusion for 10 years. And it's just really weird. Like, it's that one great story. Like, the show came back. That does not happen for nerds. It just does, Firefly. Not that I watched it, but that's like the prime example for nerds. It's like, oh, Firefly was canceled. So I know a lot of canceled, shows, and always wishing that there was an end, and it just doesn't happen. So this is a very rare moment. I'm glad it happened. It has been phenomenal. I've been saying it a bunch. If you have not been watching Clone Wars, you are missing out. Like, the show in general was always amazing, but they counted as 4 parts. Like, these last 4 episodes are separate from like even the rest of this season. Like, it starts off different and everything, and it's so intense and it's so good. Oh man, I don't want to spoil it, but just the stuff they did in the episode before last. By the time this comes out, the finale will have aired. But the episode that they had on Friday, the penultimate episode of the series, the one before that, they had some action. It was unbelievable. So I can't wait for this. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just waiting. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to get those keys in the morning. That may or may not work. It won't really matter once I start watching Clone Wars. So I'm gonna be like, nothing matters, but those 30 minutes or an hour. I'm still hoping. I don't think it'll be longer than the normal episodes, but I would still love it. I would still love it if it was just like surprise. It's an hour long episode, but I still think it'll be 30 minutes. But that's been the good thing about these episodes is that they've been like pretty much 30 full minutes because you can tell when it's like just like getting to 30 minutes. But it's been like 30 full minutes. Those extra 6 minutes, because people typically do like 22 to 24 minutes. Those extra 6 minutes, actually, like you can feel those extra 6 minutes. Like this feels like half an hour. And it's been so intense that the episodes feel really dense. Like it feels like a trillion things are happening all at once because it's like, oh, I know what's happening now because they're technically in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It's just from a different part of the galaxy. So it's like, oh, I know what's happening over there because, of course I've seen the movie. So I'm like, I know what's happening there. I know what's happening in other parts of the galaxy because of like some of the other Star Wars games that I've played. So I'm like, I know what's happening to these people and those people because I've seen that and I played that in the video game. And now I'm seeing it from another position. I'm like, this is crazy to see what's about to happen from a new perspective. And it's like one of the darkest moments, in Star Wars. So can't wait to see this final episode. I'm very excited for it. Something else I didn't mention, I didn't talk about this yesterday, or I didn't talk about it earlier either. I slightly mentioned it, but Saturday would have been Free Comic Book Day, and also the pub crawl. I mentioned that like once, but I really thought about it on Saturday or yesterday, and I was just like, this really blows, because I didn't think about the two things together. Like I just thought, I kept looking at them separate. I was like, oh man, I would have been going to a pub crawl, and it would have been the weekend before like the last episode of Clone Wars, a bunch of nerds doing a Star Wars pub crawl, and a bunch of random people would have been talking like, oh man, what do you think is going to happen in the finale? It would have been fun. And then I visited my dad on Saturday, and I don't know why I keep saying Saturday. I feel like it's already been like so long, but yesterday, and I told him, I was like, yeah, it was, today would have been Free Comic Book Day, because I knew he didn't know that. And then that's when I actually thought of it, like, dang, I would have done Free Comic Book Day, early in the day, and then I would have done a Star Wars pub crawl at night. It would have been like the best nerd Saturday ever. And I'm like, stupid virus killed my Free Comic Book Day, and it killed my Star Wars pub crawl right before the finale, because it would have been a heck of an experience to just see people like flipping out, like, just talking about the finale. So it just sucks, because I was like, man, I would have loved to have had it, because I've never really had that. Like, I know like one other person, like one of my coworkers, he's a giant Star Wars fan like me. So I'm like, he's like the only other person that I really talk to at work, where it's like, there are a couple of people, but everyone was kind of like really nerdy about it, but everyone kind of stopped at The Mandalorian. And then once Clone Wars came out, it was always like, yeah, I haven't watched Clone Wars. I never really saw it. And it was just like me, him, and I think one other guy did see it. So it was like the three of us, and then like our group of people where we got to like that little center where it was like Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. Yeah, Mandalorian, let's watch it. We would like watch it at work every week when The Mandalorian premiered. We would like take breaks together and we'd watch the newest episode of The Mandalorian. And then once Clone Wars was like, I was like, everybody needs to like catch up on this, because only like 2 of us had really watched it. And I was like, you guys need to at least see like everything Darth Maul and Mandalorian related, so that you're kind of accustomed to what's about to happen. And the virus stuff hit before, I think we maybe only had like 1 or 2 episodes in anyway before the virus really hit, and it was work from home. So of course that never really happened, but just crazy times. And I was just like, man, that would have been a really great nerd Saturday for me. I would have loved that, but oh well. We'll see what happens with this finale tomorrow, but I'm very excited for that. And I'm just going to try to distress. That's all I can really do, because it was just a real, like, I was trying to just be like, just focus on editing and just, get this thing done. And I think I did a decent job. I still went through a bunch of it, but it just got to the point, like, I seen that freaking program freeze so many times and just, freaking out about already possibly having lymph nodes expanding because of stress anyway. And it was just freaking me out. Like, what if it's worse than that? So, like, I've, of course, been in my own head from, like, new stress and then old stress, and obviously that doesn't help. So, I was like, I just need time to do something that's pointless. So, eggs, bacon, and then a blended fruit smoothie. And now this. So, that's pretty much the night. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm going to be, like, Star Wars out. Like, it's going to be, I might wear my Star Wars shoes. Nobody's going to see them. But I haven't worn them since, like, the Mandalorian premiere, which I went to work. I, like, wore my Star Wars hat. I wore, like, a Star Wars shirt. And I wore, like, my Star Wars shoes. I was like, Mandalorian's premiering today? All Star Wars. I think I even took my, I took my lightsabers to work. Like, we were trying to set it up and, like, watch it. We have a projector in our, like, garage. We tried to do it, and so like I had my lightsabers out there, and like people were effing around with them in the dark and stuff, and it was extra nerdy. It was real sad. But it was also amazing. Sadly, it didn't work on the big screen, so we just ended up watching it in our game room, which we do have a game room, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm gonna probably end up, just because, like, I just haven't worn them in a minute. I'm just wearing my Star Wars shoes just because. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be like, unless something insane happens next year for May the 4th, this is gonna be like the best Star Wars Day period, because it's the end of Clone Wars, and I have literally zero doubt in my mind that I'm gonna love this final episode. It'll be sad because it's ending, but I have literally no doubt that it's gonna be like absolute perfections, which I think that's exactly what I said like a few days ago. After watching the last episode, I think I said that on Friday, but I'm so excited for tomorrow. So that'll make me happy. Like that, just Star Wars. I might even replay Fallen Order just to be like, it's Star Wars Day. That might be what I do for my next gaming video. My little cousin, actually, that's another thing. My little cousin has seen my Invisible High channel where I'm high playing video games. That freaked him out, apparently. Talked to my dad about that. He didn't even seem surprised. Like, he heard about it and he didn't ask me questions or nothing. It was just, it made him laugh, and I was like, oh, I thought he'd at least ask me. It was like, oh, when did you start doing this or that? Nothing. He just mentioned what my little cousin said and he laughed. And then that was it. I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were going to have a conversation, and then that was just it. I was like, oh, all right, well, that happened. So he saw it. My mom has seen me high. She watched one of these videos, and she saw me high. She was like, I don't know how I feel about it, but it made me laugh. So I was like, all right, that's not too shabby then. But my little cousin did mention, he was like, maybe I could play either Dragon Ball FighterZ or Jedi Fallen Order. And I was like, man, I would not mind playing Jedi Fallen Order while high, because I love that game. I wish they would have a New Game Plus. I would love to play the game again, but actually have my powers from the beginning. I would prefer that, because you get some amazing stuff later in the game, and I would love to be able to play through the whole game with all of those abilities. But, if I have to restart it, I'm like, I could do it, because I love that game, and it would be a great reason just to actually replay the story and just do it while high. So I might actually start that up, because I realized, I think I mentioned this earlier today, actually, again, my Resident Evil video is literally the last thing I have. I don't have like anything else in stock for my gaming videos. That's the last one. So once I upload that, I literally have to record. I have, I think, one other Resident Evil video that I did record. I have to do like commentary on it, because I was just playing online. I was like, I should record this, because I got to play the Mastermind instead of the Survivor. For anyone who doesn't know Resident Evil Resistance, you either play 4-player co-op as survivors and you get through these tasks, or you play single player as the Mastermind and you just try to stop people from doing the tasks. You can summon zombies and monsters, and mostly just zombies, dogs. Actually, no, there are a few monsters. It depends on the character. I'm only at like rank 2 or 3 with the Mastermind, and you can't unlock the next one until you get to rank 5, which is really dumb. I kind of understand why they did it, but mostly it's stupid. Like, why would you lock 4 other characters behind ranks? And I think it's based on the strength of the characters, but I haven't noticed that much of a difference where I'm like, we're insanely overpowered because they use this guy instead of this girl. Like, it's still been like the same level of challenge. If it's a good Mastermind, it's a challenge. If it's not, it doesn't matter who they use. It's the same thing. Like, different people can use the same character. It's that sort of element. So it's really annoying, because it's not like there are a trillion people online. So it's really hard to get your rank up as a Mastermind unless you're playing all the time, which I should play again, because I paid to get the PS Plus for like this month. And I'm like, I really need to utilize that. I've only played like 3 separate days online, but I guess that means I have at least been trying to, utilize the work ethic and not just be like, let me play online because I spent $5 or however much it costs. But anyway, that's Sunday, beginning of the week. I'll be hyped up and amped and crazy, and I don't know. If I had mascara, it would probably be like running down tomorrow after I watch Clone Wars. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure I'm going to be much happier than I was today, though. So I'm looking forward to that. But so far, that's the beginning of the week. Welcome, everybody. Today is actually May the 5th. So it is Revenge of the 5th. It is not May the 4th. Obviously, it is me making up for yesterday and also combining both the days together. It is, of course, super duper late. It's like 11:54. Let me see. 11:53. I'm actually doing okay. So nothing happened yesterday. Of course, it was May the 4th. So the only thing that happened was Star Wars related. Star Wars. Clone Wars was absolutely phenomenal. The series finale was freaking amazing. I did a reaction and a review to that. Reactions are easy because I was just watching it for the first time. I absolutely loved it, so you can check out both of those if you guys are interested. I found out that Jedi Fallen Order has some new DLC. I'm very excited to check that out. I may or may not save that as the next video that I do for my Invisible High channel, so I'm not 100% sure because I'm definitely going to play it. I may or may not do it tonight. I might try to go to sleep because, of course, it's like 11:50, so might try to keep with the schedule and, just go to sleep early. Can't say early, but, being off, midnight is early. But yeah, that was pretty much all that happened. It was all Star Wars. Like, all I pretty much did was I watched it. I think I watched it twice, and then I edited my reaction video. So I put both of those up yesterday, and then did I do anything with Resident Evil? I don't think I did anything with Resident Evil yesterday. I was supposed to, but that didn't end up happening. I think I did work on it. I think I actually worked on it. I did finish it today, so I was very proud of myself for that. Screwed up my schedule, with my 5 subscribers. I think they'll be fine. So I did finish that up today, and I was like, I'll wait, and I'll at the very least, I'll at least do it like in the middle of the day to make the upload and all my posts for Instagram and everything. But not much really happened. Like yesterday was fun. I was indoors. I was just nerding out over Star Wars. Oh, the keys. That I'm like, I know there was something very specific. I was like, there's some story that's supposed to be told. The keys. I didn't get them. I did not get the keys. I was online. I got up at 10 a.m. Tried to do it. Gave it my best shot, but it didn't work. I did end up, however, getting a jersey. They call it jersey, but it was really just like a sweatshirt. So I don't know why they call them jerseys. For whatever reason, they did. So I got the 40th anniversary edition for the Empire Strikes Back. It's like the tie-dye jersey. So I got that because I was like, well, that looks pretty cool. And also, my friend got me one last year for Christmas. She got me one for the first Star Wars movie. It's just a white jersey or sweatshirt. Now I'm actually saying jersey. I kept calling it like something else before every time I would mention it in like my other Star Wars videos. But she got me one before. And I don't know if I wore it in any of these videos before. I don't think it. Also, I don't remember if I ever wore the Snorlax hat, if you're actually watching. If I did, it had to have been like the first or second week. If not, this is officially the final hat. That should be it. If I haven't already worn this. But I feel like I did at least one of the days. I had to have worn it already. But I certainly haven't worn it in a long time if I have already worn it. And if not, this is the last one. But yeah, she had got me a sweatshirt last year for Christmas, and it was for the first Star Wars, and I don't know how she found it in Michigan, but it was in French. It was like a French poster for Star Wars on the front, and then like a different poster of Star Wars also in French on the back, and then on the side it says, "May the Force be with you," but in French. Don't know where in the world she found that. I never remember to ask her. I always think about it, but I never actually asked her, like, where were you at where you saw like a French Star Wars shirt in Michigan? So I still have to ask her that, but I had that, so I was like, when I saw the one on the Disney side, I was like, man, like it caught my attention. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I was like, wait, if I get that, it could go along with the one that she got me. And then when Return of the Jedi comes out, I can get one for that. Even if I don't end up getting like the 40th anniversary edition, I can at least get one. Get like a jersey or whatever. I don't know why they call them jerseys. It's so weird to me. They call them spirit jerseys, and I guess it's just because they're really big. I don't know why. It's a sweatshirt to me, but. I could get one for Return of the Jedi, and then I'll have one for 1, 2, and 3, and I think that would be great. So that was the main reason I got it. It's really my friend's fault. Like, she got me that gift, and then I was like, well, it just makes sense. I have, I already got this one, and that was by accident, so why not just actively choose to get the second one? So I got that. I tried to get the keys. I tried to get all of that. For a minute, I was even going to get one of the Imperial probe droids. They had a 40th anniversary edition of that. That, however, is still on the Disney site, so do not go to eBay. You can still get that on the Disney site. It's still on there. The keys, of course, are totally sold out. And I think the main thing was due to recent nerdy purchases of collector's editions and a vast array of records and whatnot, I was reaching some limits money-wise on my card within my 24-hour time span, and I just wasn't thinking of that. I was like, didn't occur to me. Took me a minute, called the bank, had them increase my limit. By that time, I'm pretty sure it was too late to get those keys, because I remember even when it was like, we can't process this, and I was like, is it the website? Is it because the keys are already sold out? What's the situation here? And then it dawned on me like, oh, it has to be, my card. So I called the bank, they increased my limit, and fortunately I was able to get the jersey, because that's actually sold out. Like I checked that today. Like I just went just to see what else was, what was left. So the jersey is gone and the keys are gone. So I was like, all right, at least I did actually get something that's fairly rare. So I got the jersey, so that was cool. Like I said, the Imperial Pro Droid, I was on there and I was thinking about it when I first checked eBay, and it was because I was up so early in the morning. No one had it. It was like literally one person, and it was someone from Japan, and they were the only person that had a post on there. And then I think I checked back, it was after I watched Star Wars. Like I didn't even end up watching Star Wars until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I was on the site for so long trying to see if I could pull off getting these keys or not. So I went back on, like hours later, and then it was like, oh, here everybody is. Like I went to eBay, and it was just like Imperial Pro Droids all the way down. I was like, there it is, because I was like, this is interesting. It was only one person when I was checking in the morning, and then after that, everybody was doing it. But you can still get it. It might be sold out. By the time this comes out, it might be sold out. But it just seemed okay. It might be slightly different design, but they have like I think it's the Black Series, and it's the same thing. It's like the 40th anniversary edition. It's a different box, so technically it's still a different version if you got like the Star Wars Day Celebration version, but the description is like the exact same thing. It's like it's a 40th anniversary edition for Empire Strikes Back. It's the Imperial Probe Droid. Well, if you don't know what that is, there's no point in me describing it, honestly. I was gonna like describe it, but it's like the floating thing. It kind of looks like a bug when you think about it. It's got like, it's kind of bulbous on the top, and it's got like little spindly legs, and it just floats. It's the thing Han Solo shoots in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, so that's kind of where they're known for. That was the first time they came in / came up or popped up. Empire Strikes Back. So probe droids. If you play Fallen Jedi, they're the really annoying things that shoot you from a distance, and I hate them. They're like my least favorite enemy in the whole game, because I'm just like, something about them just bugs me. Cool mechanic though, because when they're about to self-destruct, they do actually come towards you. And when that first happened, it kind of freaked me out when I was playing the game. I was like, oh crap! And I had to I force pushed it like super fast, and I was like, I didn't see that one coming, because it was the first time you fight it. So they kind of threw me off a little bit, because I think that's the only enemy in the game that attacks from a distance, but as it's dying, it's like, okay, well I'm about to blow up. I know to kill you. So that threw me off. The first time I played that, I was like, oh, that's an interesting tactic. But I think I'm sure there's some difference. You'd probably have to look it up yourself to see the difference between the Star Wars Day version and the other one. I'm sure it's more than just the box, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, last time I checked, that was on there. Like I said, obviously I'm filming this on probably Wednesday now. Let me see. Yeah, on Wednesday now. So they may or may not be gone. But I thought it was cool. I was like, they look nice, but I didn't end up getting that. But I couldn't get the keys, but I got the jersey, so I was happy with that. Like, eventually I was like, I don't care if I can get them, I just really want the jersey. So I got the jersey, so I'm happy with that. Didn't get my keys, didn't end up getting the probe droid, and I watched Star Wars. And it was a good day, everything was nice and simple. And then something happened, something very particular, not Star Wars related. I found out, got a little email for the, Broke Baby Collector's Edition. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting my new version that I bought, because the warehouse apparently shut down. And not like they closed forever, but virus stuff, of course. Got an email from the seller, and they're like, hey, really sorry, but the warehouse said that they were shutting down due to, ye old virus, and it could be 4+ weeks, and there may be no availability even after that. So we can either extend it, extend your thing for 2 weeks, or we can just cancel it outright, because of course through eBay it's just like, it'll cancel automatically anyway. And so I didn't get to respond, and I got another email today where it said it was officially canceled, and I would have loved to have had them extend it for the extra 2 weeks, but it just really sucked. Like, it was like the one thing that actually happened today that like really just messed up my day. Like, everything else, like the editing, obviously annoying as always, especially with what I had today. Like I mentioned, it was either last week or maybe even the week before last, because I know I recorded a while ago, but that Resident Evil video that had the footage where I thought it was lost, whenever that happens and I have to get it, it has like, I think it's like M4KV or something like that. It's not an MP4 file. It's a different file. It says like TS when I select it. Whatever that file is, for some reason, brings up like, you put it into Power Director and it comes up like 12 times. And I know that that's what was making it much slower. Like, if it was a normal file, still would have had all the freezing that I've been complaining about for like the past 3 or 4 weeks. But it was way slower, and I know it was specifically because of that reason. It's the only time it ever is like a problem where I'm like losing it, and it has this really weird issue where it'll say like, oh, the server is busy, switch to the other program to correct this problem. And if I hit switch to, it just brings up the start menu on the computer. So I just have to keep like clicking retry until it finally like gets it. Like, please just let me edit. Please just let me cut and then paste or do what I needed to do. So it took even longer because it was like this different file that the program isn't 100% sure what to do with. So it just made it take even longer. But that, I was like, that's my normal annoyance, and I just hate it. The collector's edition thing, that really sucked because I was like, you know, it had a great deal. Thought I was getting something cool. I got excited about the game. Got the Broke Baby edition. And then I was like, all right, I'll return this. Just go on, buy another one. And then it's like, sorry, warehouse is shutting down. Might not even be available. So I got screwed. That really sucked because I was like, man, obviously I mostly bought it for the collector's edition just to have like a really cool collector's edition because it is cool. Like having the thing, you know, lit up especially, it would have been a great piece to have. I would have loved to have had it. And I was interested in the game. I don't think I'll play it. I don't think I'll even bother, in all honesty. I don't know if I could even beat it. Like I would have to only play that one game. And that's not really what I want to do for the channel. Like I want to like switch up games. And I don't think I'm also going to do it like in my free time, which I barely feel like I ever have anymore, mostly because of all the weird editing issues, you know, as of late. So I'm just going to leave it. Like I'm not going to bother. Like eventually, maybe I'll end up getting that game at some point, or eventually it'll just get spoiled for me and I'll just be like, oh, okay. And that'll just be it. So that sucked because I was really looking forward to having that. I would have definitely put it on the channel just to have that experience of like, do I like this game? You know, it's a real weird balance with that game. Like some people love it. A lot of people were like, meh, to hate it. They're just bored with it. So I was still looking forward to it. And of course, the collector's edition thing was just a great, great bonus. So that really sucked because I was like, man, I got the broke version. And then I thought it was like, all right, return it. I just buy it off of eBay. And then it was like, yeah, the warehouse shut down and I got my refund. So I was like, that really blows. Like I was really looking forward to having this really weird but cool collector's edition. I would have loved to have had it. That would have been a heck of a starting piece. Like of all my collector's editions, like maybe Sonic, because everyone knows Sonic, so it would be the same as having like a big Mario statue. So if I had like my Sonic thing, like if someone came in, they'd be like, oh, Sonic. But other than that, everything else is just like random. It's like super nerd crap. Like no one's gonna give a crap about Invader Zim unless they're super nerdy already or super big on Star Wars. So, you know, stuff like that, or you know, my Back to the Future shrine. I'm actually watching Back to the Future on Netflix. I just finished the show Hollywood, which I mentioned I would bring up. I love that show. That was a great show. I don't know if it'll actually have a season 2. I would love it. I think it was great. Fantastic series. Maybe don't watch it if you're like, you know, a piece of shit human being. But for me personally, I was like, this is really good. I really enjoyed it. Watched the last episode like maybe like 10, 15 minutes ago. Finished it up. Cheered up a lot. There's some stuff in there where it's like, yeah, it makes me think about some things and things that people have had to go through. So, you know, it's in some insights, you know, nothing I'm unfamiliar with, but it's just interesting. So I like the show. I thought it was really good. But after that, I was kind of just going through, and all I've been hearing, because like one of the few things I follow on Twitter is, of course, Back to the Future. So I knew Back to the Future was going to be on Netflix. It was like the big deal. Like a bunch of people were like, oh man, Back to the Future is coming to Netflix. Back to the Future. I think it's only 1 and 2. I don't know what the deal is, which that's really weird, but I think it is, for some odd reason, only 1 and 2. And that could have to do with just the year that it came out. So they have some weird, you know, Universal might have some weird legal rights to that. So that might be why. But I knew this was coming for a long time. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. More people can watch, you know, Back to the Future. I have it, you know, 3 times over. So I didn't need to. But I was on Netflix and I was just like, well, why not? So I just threw on the first movie. Like it's still at the beginning. Like Marty just saw Einstein go to the future. Like he just saw the DeLorean time travel. So I was just like, why not? And I just left it on just because it's really cool. Like normally I would turn all my stuff off just to save more power, but I was like, I'll let Back to the Future play because I like Back to the Future. But Hollywood is great. Highly recommend it. Obviously Back to the Future, just everything about that, perfect. I always recommend Back to the Future to people. But that was mostly it. You know, I had my great time with Star Wars. Absolutely amazing. Can't wait to play Jedi Fallen Order because one of the things I always wanted was for them to have a battle mode. Like everyone always said the same thing. There's a very specific part in that game where you're in an arena. And I was like, man, you never get to go back to that portion, but it was just like, it's a cool battle portion. And then it's like, here you go. And you can throw it in there. I'm pretty sure based on that trailer I saw, you can even throw in allies, at least one. They may have other people, but there was specifically one other person, that was in there, and I was like, that's an ally AI character. and there's so many opportunities. Like, that game has a photo mode for anyone who didn't know that. And if you don't know what I like to do on Instagram, you should check it out. I tend to put a lot of video game photography there. So once I saw that, I was like, I can throw in any type of monster I want. I can even throw in, at the very least, one specific type of ally. And that means I can get a lot of new pictures, and I'm very excited for that. They even threw in new customization items for the characters. Well, they at least did for BD1, which is the droid in the game, which I've never talked about BD1. BD1 is like my new favorite droid in all of Star Wars. As soon as I started playing that game, I was like, I want a BD1 replica because that droid is so insanely cute. But he gets new customization. You get a new costume for Cal, who's the main character of the game. I don't know if there's actually a new game plus. That's like the one thing. It didn't specifically say like, hey, new game plus and battle modes. It was like, no, you get customization. Where all of your different customization items that you unlock through all the cutscenes. And I was like, well, you can only go through the cutscenes if you start the game over. So are they saying you have a new game plus? Or are they, because I'm like, do we get to keep our powers? Because there's a way to do that, because God of War did the same thing. Eventually, they made a new game plus mode, and they basically just set all the powers to the story mode. So even if you had the abilities from, like, at the end of the game, if there was something, like, in the environment, like, there's a specific item that you need to, like, be like, I need to go to this place. You still couldn't use it if you started the game over. It was just like, this is unaccessible or inaccessible. One of those two things is correct. Until you get to this point in the game, and then it allows you to utilize that ability. So they could totally do that with Jedi Fallen Order, but it was really weird because I was like, it didn't say New Game Plus. It was just this weird thing like, customization. Use the items, use all the things you've unlocked in all of the cutscenes. So I was like, so powers too, right? So I can do the whole thing. So I don't know. I still have to check that out because it didn't say New Game Plus. So it was really weird. It was oddly specific about customization through all the cutscenes, but not like, hey, use all your powers and have a ton of fun. So that was weird. And I was like, I don't really know. So we'll see. I haven't downloaded it yet to see what the specific update has within it altogether. But I was happy. That was a great way to kind of cap off May 4th as well, because I was just kind of scrolling through, and that was like at the end of the night, and it was just like, boom, free update, Jedi Fallen Order. And I was like, yes. So that might end up being on the new gaming channel, like I mentioned. Don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. I won't do the gaming thing tonight, but I might play. I might just test it out just to have some fun with it, and then maybe save a little bit extra and just, see exactly what's in there. At the very least, just download it so I'm not waiting, tomorrow to do it. But that was pretty much it. The 4th was awesome because of Star Wars. The unfortunate thing that happened was I won't be getting my Death Stranding Collector's Edition, the good actual fixed version. So that sucks. But other than that, everything's been pretty all right. The one thing that really sucks about not being able to get the Disney keys also is that with the weird limit that I had on my card and stuff from buying everything, if it weren't for the fact that I had that weird GoPro issue, which I did figure out, I don't remember if I talked about that, but solved that problem, everything fell off, I got the items, everything's good. But because of that situation, I still have like that pending charge, and because I may or may not be slightly reckless with that very specific card, it's pretty much maxed out. So if it weren't for that fact, I would have had enough to buy like all the stuff that I wanted from the beginning. And I was like, I don't know if it's the card, I don't know if it's the website. And then I was like, well, crap. Like I even went on my phone to check like the actual credit card balance. And I was like, that stupid pending charge took like the last extra bit that I needed. And I probably still could have just got the keys. I had enough if I wanted to just get the keys, but obviously I was trying to get everything at once. And I was really worried about like exiting out because I was like, I don't know if it's saving it for me or, exactly what's happening here. So sadly, that would have been fine. Like I would have actually gotten the keys if I hadn't had that weird situation with the GoPro site. Like I could have just been like, all right, screw it, I'll switch to the credit card, and then I probably could have made that purchase and actually got the keys to resell them, because of course they're on eBay for like 80 to 100 bucks. I forgot I didn't turn off my heat. It's been oddly cool today. I've been like chilly. It was weird up and down. It's supposed to be summer, but I'm in here, I'll be cold sometimes. But that's a good point for me to cut it off anyway. That's pretty much it. I don't know what's going to be happening tomorrow, but I'm going to do videos tomorrow. I'm out of gaming video, so I have to do something tomorrow. So it'll probably be Fallen Jedi tomorrow, which I'm kind of excited about. And I'm probably going to play a little bit tonight. I might end up playing River City Girls just so I distract myself, because if I play Jedi Fallen Order, I'm going to test everything. And that is definitely my cue to cut this part. So I will see you guys later. Welcome to Wednesday, everybody. It's another high night. I realized because I was editing the actual last quarantine vlog, the way that I seem to get high is like every other day. Well, it's the same 2 days, but it would seem like it's every other day because I haven't been high in, I don't think since I really don't remember. I mean, I had a hard time remembering today was Wednesday, and that was way before I was high. Like, I don't know why. Specifically today, it was just super weird. But I feel like I get high in like these odd spacings, and then it's just like the 2 days really close to each other. Like it's weird. It's almost like the weekend in itself. It's like a weed weekend. Like, oh, that's the weekday. Like way over there to be like one of those days, and then suddenly when I actually do it, it'll be like boom boom, and I'll do it like 2 times in a row or close to it at least. So I thought that was interesting, editing the last vlog, which I finally uploaded. So I did that. I didn't work on anything today, like at all. Like I went out to Walmart. I actually did some stuff, so that's good. I went to Walmart again, had to stock up. Currently I have cashews. So I mentioned in like a gaming video that I had seen like some honey roasted cashews a while back. Sadly, these are not honey roasted. They're just regular, delicious, amazing cashews. But I was stocking up, and I was like, man, I don't really need any snacks or anything because it'll just be sugar, and I'll eat it all up anyway. Like the first time I did when I got the very delicious Welch's fruit snacks, and those are hard to fight. Those are just so good. So, like, I should get some cashews. Epic cotton mouth with those things, but I love cashews. Could be salted. They just feel they're so plain, and I don't think I realized that. Whoops. I didn't realize that they were plain. I'm so used to everything is just it's automatically salted. Like that's how I think of everything. It's probably because I'm always eating those Cars peanuts. But I'm so used to everything just being salted. I don't even think of that anymore. It's like if it's either salt or it's honey roasted, which I wish I could get a giant thing of honey roasted cashews. It would if I got this and they were honey roasted, that would be like $100,000. Probably worth it in these trying times. But yeah, got myself some cashews. I stocked up. I got 2 pizzas, so they were like those weird semi-fresh ones and stuff. So I froze one, of course, ate the other one. Ate half of it, so I'll be having an amazing jalapeno red pepper flake breakfast, which is probably not going to be great for the stomach, but c'est la vie. So I got myself some pizza, got my, of course, my frozen dinners. I got like 4 packs of carrots because they had the little baby carrots. I was like, I want me some carrots. So I bought 4 bags of carrots. I'll probably be orange by the time I'm out of quarantine. So got some of those. Got some other stuff, of course, milk, cereal, the generic stuff. And then specialty pickup, I had to get myself some cashews. So I got that. Also, some things came in. You probably saw that when I was moving around and stuff. We got the My Hero Academia One's Justice 2 came in today. So that was cool. So My Hero Academia. This is weird. So didn't think of this before. It didn't occur to me until I got this thing. This is my first Nintendo Switch collector's edition. It's only my 5th physical game because the only physical ones I have are Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, Astral Chain. I need to play Astral Chain. That's made by Platinum Games. I'm not gonna do a tangent. I know where I'm going with this. I was so excited for that because I love Platinum Games and Bayonetta, one of my favorites of all time. Check out my Let's Discuss. And that was a good plug. And when I saw that was coming out, it was before I had a Switch, and I was like, oh man, I might have to buy a Switch specifically for that game. I didn't end up doing it, but that was like when I got my Switch, that was the first one I was going for. So I was like, I gotta get that. I got Breath of the Wild. I would have loved to have gotten Mario Odyssey, but it wasn't on sale. It was still $60, and I was like, nope. I like recently, Legend of Zelda is huge though, but like I recently beat that, and I'm starting on like so I beat Sayonara Wild Hearts, great game, and then I'm doing River City Girls right now. That's my current thing, but Astral Chain, I definitely need to play that. I've played like the first mission, and that's legitimately it. So really crazy. I need to get to that because I love Platinum action games. But anyway, I knew I was going on my tangent, but I wanted to mention that part. I actually remember this time. This is weird to have as a collector's edition because I wasn't expecting the case to be small. I wasn't thinking Switch case. The collector's edition will be this weird rectangle because this looks really weird being so fancy, and it's just I feel like it's a phone. I feel like I got like a really insanely fancy, insanely slim phone case, and that's just what I feel like. Or I just got a big effing phone. Which I'm sure there have been phones this size. Can this fit in my pocket? Yes, they can. Sorry, ladies. Pockets are great. But this just looks so weird to me. Like, it's so odd. I'm like, oh, it doesn't really fit in the aesthetic of, well, it does sideways. I'm pretty sure it's the same height. Like, it freaked me out once it was skinny. I was like, I hope they're always the same height at the very least. But Nintendo does their own thing. So this kind of got me. Had I known that, I probably would have got a different version, to be totally honest. I do actually like the images, like, especially this. Like, this one's really cool. Like, the lightning actually has its own reflection. That's super cool. So this is actually a really legit collector's edition case. Like, I love that. I realized when I was actually going through, and also all the mic though. I realized when I was going through, I was like, oh man, I have to get my Dragon Ball Fighter collector's edition. Like, I have it, but I realized I never put out the steel case, and I think it was just before I moved. So for some reason it just stayed in the box. And I didn't think about it, and I was like, oh, gotta put it with my little steelbook collection. So this will be going up there, and I'll get my DBZ one. This, I guess, will always just be the first one. I mean, I don't know. Because it's not like, I mean, typically you just see it sideways, but especially because where I have them, they're on the second to last one. So technically when I'm looking at them, I'll always kind of be looking at a down angle. And so it'd be weird. It'd be like, it's fine. Like, I don't have them like color coordinated, like through the hues of the rainbow or anything. But this is like the first time where it's like, oh, it actually matters for these. You know, it's so weird. So it might always have to be the last one at the very end, because otherwise I like kind of looking down, it's just like this weird spacing where I'm like, oh, no. OCD will not allow it. It has to be largest to smallest, and that's just factual. So this will always be in the front, which is not too shabby because it's sick. So I love that. But I am excited to play the game. Still upset with them. I can't believe that it's only in Japanese. That's ridiculous. Like, they have money. That's ridiculous. Also, here's my Deku figure. I'd light it up because like 3 freaking people on the entire internet actually light this thing up in their unboxings, because you know why? The batteries are not included. That's just cheap. Just saying. That's kind of cheap, especially considering the batteries are like those super tiny watch batteries. But this is a pretty legit Deku figure. Like, that's pretty sick. Like, it has some really good detail. He lights up right here. Of course, when I get these batteries, I forgot to get them, naturally, when I was at Walmart. Wrote it on the list and everything. And then I still left and just forgot the batteries. But who knows? I'll just either see if they actually have them online, and then I'll just go back up there. Or if I don't want to go out again, I'll just, do Amazon, because I've been getting a lot of stuff in. I really need to like catch my delivery guy before he takes off, which means I have to have a normal sleep schedule again, so I can actually thank him, because I've been getting like a buttload of stuff as of late. So I do appreciate that. But great figure, cool little placard, comic book style. I think that's pretty sweet. The DBZ collectors, it's Dragon Ball Fighters. That collector's edition also comes with one of these. I forgot what they're actually called. It doesn't look like that. It's just like, it's an art piece, but it's really cool. It's just like that. Actually has 3 of them. One I think is Goku, Vegeta. I want to say Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks. I think it's Goku, Vegeta, and Adult Gohan. And then the other one is Goku and Vegeta, but it's Super Saiyan Blue. And then I think the third one is like the villains. So those are all pretty sweet. And they don't have one that's a comic style, and it wasn't the action scene. It was, I think I was thinking of like the outside image that kind of reminded me of that. But either way, moving on, it has 3 of those. Also, came in very special thing with its nice outside. Of course, even though you guys don't really care, I did of course wipe down everything. Everything was in the plastic. I kind of didn't even think about talking about these until after I like ripped this one open. Like, I just opened it up and I was like, cool. And then I have like all the plastic and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I gotta talk about that in the video. Maybe I could have done like a slight unboxing or something like that, but yeah, it's not really how this goes. So this, of course, the GoPro Hero 8 Black. So happy to have this. I was supposed to actually plan that out. I forgot about it today, but I was supposed to actually plan it out to show you guys. I know where it's at, actually. Boom. Okay. So, supposed to plan this out. I thought about it the other day. This is the GoPro Hero 5 Session. It is this tiny little thing. I love it. It's really cool. It's a cool little cube, and you can pop it in the corner and stuff. It has its, it has its advantages. Just, there are more in this one. But this is my first GoPro item. And like I said, I love it. I always wanted one. Couldn't afford, the big ones. So I ended up getting this on sale. Had to have been Black Friday. Yeah, it was Black Friday. Got it from a Best Buy. And it was just like, cool. got myself a little GoPro 5-Hero session. Of course, I mentioned before, black nerds love a deal. Black people, just in general, love a deal. So, of course, not only got it on sale, but got the special. I got this with it, and I think it even came with a memory card, which they tend to do that quite often, but it was a decent deal. And I think I got something else too. I can't remember, but it was the camera and it was this, which technically doesn't come with it because this is the floaty thing, which, thank goodness, all of my mounts will fit on this. But it also came with a card, and then like I said, I feel like it came with something else, but it was a good deal. It was a good time. There's some videos with it. Some of the footage that I have never even bothered to actually edit from when I went to Japan last year is, taken with this bad boy. I think the robot show. Yeah, I think the robot show, I had some stuff here. So there you go. Finally utilizing that stuff. I can, throw it in there. So I hope you guys like that. But yeah, I've gotten some use out of this thing, tested it underwater, blah, blah, blah. It's good. It was good. Didn't really do much with it, but I like it. It's still nice. It does good things. This, however, does amazing things. It's so good. It has 4K at 60 frames per second. You can do 1080p at 240 frames, which is 8 times slow motion. And that's really what I want. I want to mess around with slow motion stuff and have really cool looking visuals, just really slow motion. I can't wait to test all that stuff out. You can do live streaming at 1080p. This Hypersmooth, that was the big thing. Hypersmooth 2.0 is insane. I was looking at so much stuff. I kind of don't ever want to rip these boxes up because I like how everything looks so sleek and it's just so nice. This side's kind of rubbery. But I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to get this thing out of here. I always love the packaging for these, the plastic on the top so you can actually see it and everything's underneath. I've always thought that was actually a really cool way to promote it. And I don't think anyone else really does that. Maybe other, action cameras do, but no other items are really kind of sold like that. Well, I mean, I guess technically they all are. It's just not in this. It doesn't feel as sleek. Technically you can get a Millennium Falcon speaker and you see the speaker on top, but all the plugs and stuff are underneath. But maybe it's because this actually comes with so much. Because it has all the mounts and stuff in it. It always feels weird. It's a thick thing of plastic and stuff. It just seems like a fancier box. I guess that's the main thing that comes across. So of course, the GoPro Hero 8 Black, sleek, rugged. Ooh, not rugged enough, which is why I got all those cases coming in. Also, I ended up buying something I'm very excited to use on this thing. Is the mouth mount. So I was looking up some info for that. And it looked really nice. And I was like, oh, a lot of the footage is actually, it's a lot more stable. And I thought that was really interesting. So I was like, it's more stable. It's more natural as well. For some reason, if you've seen GoPro videos, but for those of you who haven't, it's just slightly weird. When it's on the head, it just feels unnatural. And it's no matter who the person is, it just, something about it feels odd. It just seems a little off. And it's probably that you just can't get the perfect angle when you're above the eyes. I don't know. It's something weird. It's just something weird. It just looks slightly off. And oddly enough, when you use the mouth mount, it's kind of perfect. Obviously you can tell hands and stuff are, closer and everything, but I don't know. For some reason it's different because maybe that's what it is. Technically you can just always tell the distance because you're so far from, your arms. If someone puts it on their head, it's still this weird connection we have as humans, I guess, where you can still tell it's unnatural. So you don't get that with the mouth mount, so I got that. Still on my nice little discount, so I gotta remember to cancel that so I don't get. Oh, this is just so tiny and cute. Look how tiny this itty bitty little baby battery. It's no wonder these things die out so fast. All the freaking pictures they have, I bought the charger and stuff. I thought this. I mean, oh my goodness, this is just so tiny. It's it's precious. Look at that. Very sleek also. I love of course, blue's my favorite color, so I love the blue, but it's just precious. Yeah, that's funny. I did not realize that these things were so insanely tiny. Oh my goodness. That probably won't work, but, oh, totally, okay. I really shouldn't be effing around with this thing. Technically, I've still got 30 days on my subscription thing. Well, I guess that wouldn't be for the battery, it would be for the GoPro. And plus, I technically have a replacement coming anyway, but That'll be like, it won't be. It's just dangerous. There's no reason to just have a battery just sticking up like that. That's just asking for trouble, but it looks cool. It looks cool. Anyway, we got the GoPro Hero 8 in. Got all our little mounts and our plugs. So that's cute. That's also cute. It's not as cute as this baby blue battery. But that's cool. Let's throw all that in there. I almost put this in my mouth. I gotta freaking be careful. I don't think that's because I'm high either. I think that was genuine, just like, oh, I gotta, hold on. It's like, no. That's a precious baby battery. Oh my goodness. I want to like crack this thing on day one or something. And in that case, I would still be covered. I think this might be new, like the little security tab deal. I'm super confused as to why I can't get this thing out. There we go. This wasn't pushing hard enough. That's cool. It has a little fake picture on it. I mean, that, like, yeah, it's a waste of plastic. It already looks fancy enough. But, that's cool. It's got 100%. He's only been recording for 8 seconds. He's got his gloves on. It's good for, virus stuff. I'm sure this was before that, but, 2 hours and 11 minutes on the camera, too. Doing some biking, sand biking. That's nice. Oh, I like that click. So I'm gonna mess around with this later. Obviously, just opened it up. Still haven't even opened up my crane yet, so I gotta do all that. It won't be tonight, of course. I just want to open this stuff up. Well, I want to open this up and show that off. But everything's good. I think this is one of these shelves. I think it's gonna be the GoPro shelf, and I'm gonna have like my GoPro will be set up. I'll of course have my little one. I don't remember where I put it. Wherever I put it. I'm going to have my little one just there. It's going to be more for decoration because I'll rarely pick that one up. But I think it'll like one of these shelves, I think will be like the nice GoPro shelf. And I'll have like all my mounts just set up and it'll be nice. It'll make me feel a bit more professional. Maybe I'll put all my camera stuff there. That would be cool. And do like every other, fancy YouTuber where they have like all their cameras behind them. And I always think, I wish I just had enough money to afford that shelving. That's what I think sometimes. I don't think about any of the camera stuff like, oh, that's so fancy. The first thing I think of is like, I wish I just had the space. That would be nice. That would be pretty cool. And the money to afford such space. But, yeah, it'll be cool. I'll get all my old cameras and stuff. Not that I have that many, but I do have, I don't know. Admittedly, my DSLR, I just feel like it's just the big clunky thing. So it doesn't feel really aesthetic to me, but like my old school one is like the classic long lens and everything and fancy little GoPro mounts and chest mounts and all my little trinkets for that. So might have a camera shelf. That'll be cool. I was hoping to have a Death Stranding shelf, of course. Well, I guess I think I mentioned way in the beginning when I got it, it's like it would have to go on top. It's too big. But that's cool. Depending on what happens with Loot Crate, I don't think I talked about this in the blog yet, but I have a so I bought the My Hero crate that's coming out, and they say that's coming out in June, and I paid for the premium. So I have some of the collectors. Oh, actually, it's all up here. No, it is not. This also comes with like little keychains of Deku and Overhaul. I don't know where those are right now. I was gonna use those as my example, but I got Overhaul's jacket. And this, well, I guess I'll just use this for the people that may or may not know the character. Plus, the pins would just be a cool full body design. That's it. So I'm curious, how close to the dude in the purple? How close to this jacket am I going to be getting? Because it was 50 extra bucks for the jacket, and that's kind of like meh. It's still kind of meh. So I'm curious how that's going to really pan out. Like what, with everything I did, it was specific when it says, when something says add this and it's specifically that, there's no mystery. It's not like, oh, what would you rate this item out of this item in the mystery Loot Crate box? It's like, no, plus $50. The jacket is $50 worth of content. So how good is that really going to be? Because if I get like my Steven Universe jacket, that's worth an excessively rare amount of money because it's the only thing only jacket I think I will ever conceivably buy that was $150. It wasn't $200. I got it for sale. And it's sold, it's sold out anyway. You can check out my review for that. I did do a video for that as well. Steven Universe jacket, which you guys have of course seen me in, like my cosplay jacket. It was 150. It's like the official like daylight curfew jacket, and I love it. It's so insanely soft. It's so screw it. I gotta wear it now. Yeah, it's so insanely soft. Like it's really nice. It's really nice. Love the stars on the inside. That's like the coolest feature ever. My friend said that hers got delayed till like June or so. Oh, my shirt. I would have forgot about this tomorrow. This is good. This is good. This was a nowhere topic. So, man, I was so close to ending it too. I know I was about to wrap up, and my shirt. Mortal Kombat Aftermath looks so freaking sweet. I cannot wait for that to come out. I think it's May 26th. I wish it was a little bit sooner because I'm sure I'll be back to work, so I have to like play it quick, which it probably won't be that long. But that looked amazing. I was so happy when that happened. Like I saw it on Twitter, and it was like reveal premiere 6 a.m. and I was like, what? It would have been like 9 here, California time. So I was like, I freaked out because I was like, holy crap. I don't think anyone expected this. I don't think anybody thought MK11 was gonna be like, it's MK11. Like, holy crap, they ended the entire thing. It's gonna be a reboot. MK11 was not supposed to be the game that got like this super cool secret expansion pack. That was like, they ended the franchise and it was gonna be a full-on reboot. Everyone was like, where does this leave us for the story? And then like, we'll tell you. Like a year and a half. I think it's only been like a year or a year and a half. And it was like, here you go. Mortal Kombat Aftermath. So I'm excited. Fujin looks so cool. I like Fujin. I'll admit, Mortal Kombat 4 was like, I was cool with it. I was fine. I was a kid. I was cool with it. I didn't despise it. I was like, okay, Mortal Kombat 3D. Janky? You betcha. But I liked it. I was fine with it. And as time goes on or whatever, you have characters that you like. Fujin was one of them. I always thought he was cool in that game. He had like easy to use moves. I like the character. So I actually like Fujin because of Mortal Kombat 4, because that's where he technically premiered. And now we got him back, and people like him. No one liked the game, but people, except for Reiko. No one cares about Reiko. But a lot of those characters that started in 4, even though it was a really like game, they got love. Like, people like those characters. So Fujin is one of mine. Like I said, no one cares about Reiko. Every time I saw him, I thought of Batman. Because I was like, all I could think was, I see this dude, and I'm like, no one wears that eye mask except for Nightwing from Batman. And that was like his WB stuff. Every time I saw him, I was like, it's just like Red Nightwing. That's all I could think. When I see that guy, I'm like, that's Dick Grayson. That's all I think when I see that character in Mortal Kombat 4. He's just in red. And obviously he doesn't have the Nightwing pattern, but that's all I see. Like, just the way he looks. It's the white eyes. Like, you put the white eyes on, and all I can think is Batman. He was like the superhero mask. So I'm like, all I see is freaking, I think Batman and Robin every time I see that character. And I'm just like, that's just Dick Grayson. He's just in the wrong costume. So that's what I think when I see Reiko from Mortal Kombat. But Fujin, I always liked, and he looks freaking sick in this new game, or in the update. Like, he uses a sword, which, of course, I love that. I've always liked wind powers, not just because of Avatar Last Airbender, but wind powers are cool. So I love the way that they do it, and of course with him they actually show like the visuals of it and stuff, and he's doing all these cool martial arts spins. It was real like chi stuff. So I thought it was cool. I was like, all right, I like that. And he's once again swords. So that was pretty sweet. She was gonna be in it, which is great. More Shang Tsung, that's pretty cool. Sindel, I know people were very, very upset with her story because everyone was mad when it was like they brought her back and she was just the evil reincarnated version, and it like skipped over what her story was and all this other stuff, and then her ending was like they retconned her to be like a straight up villain the whole time. So they have a chance to fix that, because up until now, or whatever's going to happen in this aftermath, that was kind of like as close as we got to a canonical ending for her character. And it was like everyone hated it. Everyone was so mad that they retconned the lore and made her like just a shitty human being from the very beginning, or Adenian, which I think is right. I didn't think I was that deep with Mortal Kombat, but I actually remember some, so I pay attention to the lore. I was like, that's more Star Wars level, but I was like, that could be wrong, so I could be like happy at myself for nothing. But they have a chance to fix that, so we'll see what happens, because I think that was the whole point of that story, was that technically it was just the evil Revenant version of herself, and nothing happened. Nothing good, at least, came of it. And they just retconned it to be like, nope, she was evil the whole time. She betrayed her husband. She didn't lose her husband and get corrupted by this warlord in order to protect her daughter. None of these amazing, heroic things that are really great. And admittedly, it's an amazing story when you go into the details of like the tragedy of, you know, having to let go of your old husband and basically be like kidnapped by this ruler. And it's a really weird, you know, dynamic for a character to have to live through. And then her daughter grows up technically still as a princess, but of this weird war-torn realm that's, you know, not the dream you had. So it's Mortal Kombat has some great stories. It's crazy. But they have a chance to fix it, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'm excited. I'll be fine either way. I'm not one of the people. Oh, we're gonna hit that. I always keep this. It's the little Daylight Digital thing they sent. I always wanted to keep it. So I was like, I'm not $150 jacket. I should put this. That's what it's supposed to be. It's actually supposed to be there. But yeah, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat. And of course, Robocop which is why I wore the freaking shirt. Epic, insane surprise at the end. Robocop is the next guest character. And I just don't know. I love it. I thought it was crazy. It was like, it's insane. I mean, you know what's really crazy? Oh man, I always find a good tangent. What's really crazy, and this upsets me so much, because as much as I love Terminator, and Terminator 2, I watched for an entire summer. I watched T2 every day, and I drank Ensure. I didn't know it was actually to help you gain weight, so I got a little fat that summer. Delicious shakes, though, vanilla. Every day, love Terminator 2. Spawn, absolutely amazing. Once again, I was a kid. I like the movie. I heard that it's one of those weird Snyder Cut sort of deals now. It turns out that movie was actually like really cool, and there was like deep emotional moments, but then it was like, yeah, throw that CG in there, and it basically changes the tone of the movie, because they cut stuff for, you know, it was the 90s, so like epic CG dramatics, and it was like they could have actually had like a cool deep Spawn movie, which is interesting to think. And it's like, wow, because Michael Jai White is the guy who played it, and you don't know him, not Undercover Brother, not Dolomite, Dynamite, there it is. Dynamite. Hilarious movie, hilarious show. Also something that got canceled, and I'm upset about that. It just takes a long time for animation, and then just ended. It's very sad, very sad. And that's the one that made me lose it, because I forgot what the F I was talking about. Mortal Kombat, retcons, and something else. Dynamite got me. Michael J. White, Spawn, got it. As much as I love Spawn, as much as I love Terminator, and as much as I love Batman, even Joker is actually really sick. I wanted Ash Williams. Evil Dead is in one of my, it's in my top franchise. I have like a little tote bag that I got from Loot Crate. Oh, no, this is Night of the Living Dead. That's wrong. Let's forget that. Anyway, I have all the movies and stuff. Love the TV show. Really upset that show got canceled. But also, Ash's character got canceled for Mortal Kombat. He was in there. There are a bunch of tweets you can find where it shows like all the names for the characters, like these people are coming up, and Ash's name was in there. And people knew from the trailer, the very first trailer where Shang Tsung was in there, that was when people, it was like they had like a shotgun go off or like a chainsaw, and then of course the cape, and people knew that the cape was for Spawn. So we knew the elements from like sound effects and stuff, and people were like, it's a shotgun, and of course data mine. But shotgun plus data mine equals, we know for a fact, Ash Williams from Evil Dead is supposed to be in Mortal Kombat. Everything else was accurate. It was like, oh, here we go. We got Terminator. And here we go. We got all these other characters that have been data mined. And our guest characters started rolling in. And it was like, Terminator. How about that? Obviously, we knew Spawn was for sure. And then, of course, Ash Williams. Ash vanishes. And then we get like the weird, freaky Joker. Because it was like, surprise, it's supposed to be Joker now. And I was like, no one saw that. There's all this stuff that's wrong. And then, poof, he's gone. Ash is gone. And I don't get to have Ash Williams in a Mortal Kombat game. And that blows. Evil Dead is amazing. And I get so mad. I feel like it just doesn't get the respect it deserves. I love Evil Dead so much. I feel like I don't talk enough about Evil Dead. I feel on this channel, I don't do that enough. And I think I need to review those movies, because I have them all on Blu-ray. I reviewed the remake. I was so excited for that remake. That was, man, I think until Star Wars, until Force Awakens came out, I think that was the most excited I'd been for a movie, period. It was like, oh man, Evil Dead, getting a remake. I'm so excited. I love Evil Dead. I was just like, man, I left. I was supposed to go with my dad It was supposed to be me, my dad, and my cousin, and we were all gonna go see it. And so I was like, okay, all right, he's not here yet. We missed the first showing. That's all right. That's okay. We can go. We can go to the next one. It's fine. It's totally fine. And then it was like, yeah, he's a little late. Okie dokie. I'm leaving. And then I just left. I was like, all right, I'll see you later. And I just left because I was like, I need to see this movie today. Of course, it was release day. And it was like, it was before I had the means to do midnight release. Because I didn't have, did I have a car? No, I did. I had to have had a car. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't do midnight. I think that was before I was really savvy about it. Like, I wasn't as intense on like getting my movie reviews in and stuff like that. And it was Evil Dead, and I really think that was before I was big into like the midnight release stuff. That movie might be older. Yeah, that movie's older than I'm thinking because I haven't been in my old house in quite a while. That movie is way older than I'm thinking now because I was still in college. Interesting. So anyway, very sad. Ash Williams was cut. But Robocop looks really cool. Robocop is from Detroit. We still don't have that statue, but Robocop's from Detroit, and I'm excited for that, and I can't wait to play that character. The original voice actor actually brought him back, and I'm just curious to see what in the world are they gonna do. I've seen some of the moves and stuff. I think IGN had a video, and they like drew stuff in, and it was actually a really funny joke. They like drew in the weapons as he was saying it, and then they put like a star, and it was like artistic rendition or something like that. I was like, or it was like not final art or not final concept. And I was like, oh, you don't say. And I thought that was a really good joke. But I'm excited to see how they use this character because somebody mentioned like Terminator is like, it'll be interesting to see because are they gonna be the same type of character? Well, not that they'll be the same character, but like their elements and stuff. Like how are they gonna utilize the sort of robot? Even though Terminator's a robot, Robocop's a cyborg. But how they, the armor stuff and, things like that. Obviously, it'll be a big distance character, but he does have the shield, which, considering some of the techniques in the game, it's most likely, like, an interesting grapple plus a toss-up. Maybe, no, it'll be a rush, but I feel like it could be a toss-up because it would be, like, sort of a backhand type of move. They could do it. Technically, some stomps lead you into juggles. I'm talking about these, like, deep frame techniques in video games that I don't really know that much about. It's like fighting game stuff, invincible frames, all that good stuff. But I am curious how they're going to use this character. I think it'll be cool. It'll definitely be cool to see it. Like, what are they going to do? Is he going to shoot? He has to shoot someone in the nuts, right? For a fatality. But it's so weak. That's such a simple, like, boom, he shoots one person in the nuts. That's no big deal. Ed 209. Oh my goodness. That's probably going to be one of the fatalities where, like, Robocop can bring in Ed 209. And he, like, just shoots you up. They could change... Oh, man. No, they don't do that. Oh, dang, that sucks. Because I was going to say they could do a fatality that was... they can make... The references will be there. But I was thinking that they transfer locations. But you don't technically move when you do a fatality. You're still in the level. But, man, it would have been cool if they had a thing where it was, like... They frame it like the end of the movie as a fatality. And then he, like, kicks you through a window. But I was like, you'd have to be in a building, for it to be a window and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I feel like they could still do it. They could do that. You just won't fall out the window. But I bet that's one of the fatalities. Like, somehow they do it. And then Ed 209 comes in. And then he, Robocop changes. Like, that's the target. And Ed 209, like, shoots somebody up. That's so cool. I didn't even think of that until just now. Obviously, because I got so excited. That's such a nerd thing. Like, it's so funny to think how nerdy I can get over Robocop. I haven't seen Robocop. I'm almost 28. I probably haven't seen it in 2 decades, honestly. Like, I'm sure I was a little bit older than 8 years old. But I don't remember the last time I saw Robocop. And I'm like, oh my goodness, but Ed 209 can do this. And I have, like, all these ideas because it's Robocop. It's just so famous. It's funny. But excited for Robocop. Holding out hope for Ash Williams. I'm curious what we're going to get. Like, I'm curious if these characters in the Aftermath are going to be counted towards the character packs, but I would assume they wouldn't. Just because I feel like they would have said that. They would have been like, Robocop is the first part of the combat pack, but he's included in the Aftermath thing. Like, you could do it separately if you want to or something like that, but they didn't do that. He's specifically an added character for Aftermath. Unless they do make a separate trailer and it is like he's technically the beginning of the next combat pack, which would make sense. But I feel like it's weird that they wouldn't say that from the very beginning and like make that official so people know like day one, like, hey, he's coming out day one, but this is Combat Pack 2. Like nothing that I've seen has said Combat Pack 2 or anything like that. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. The fact that he's just a nice bonus guest character, or is that going to be a surprise when it comes out and then they're like, actually, he is the first part. So that'll be interesting because I'm sure people will data mine once again. So we'll see what happens with that, if that ends up being the case, or who knows what's going to happen. But I'm very excited for that. I'm definitely going to buy that. Like as soon as it comes out, I'm downloading that, which is going to be an insane pack, which sucks. I just thought of that because I think Mortal Kombat right now is freaking. It's one of those giant ones. It's got to be like 80 gigs or something crazy. So, all right, okay, Mortal Kombat 11. Great game. Barely utilize it, I'll be honest, but that's what happens when you get like just an epic game, especially if it's a fighter game. I play them and I beat them, and if they have an epic story, which only is Mortal Kombat. I love Tekken. I just don't end up buying the Tekken games, although I might just to play as Asuka again and just have one game. I might buy just buy Tekken 7 because I actually have a lot of great stats in that game, and I still have that file on my PS4. I might just do that because I actually really like Tekken 7, and then I can just get the DLC, which for whatever reason, speaking of weird characters and not characters, Negan is in Tekken but not in Mortal Kombat. Still weird, still odd. Don't know how that one happened, but that's interesting. Some things happen. Sometimes you get Negan. Sometimes you get Box Art Mega Man. Things are weird at Namco. That's how it works. But I think that's enough rambling for tonight. I think I sufficiently explained everything that's happened because it was actually a decent amount. And then of course natural high tangents. Although I think I did okay for this one. I probably traveled a lot farther than I realized, but I feel like I did a nice weaving around that anime, video games stuff. Nerds, it's all nerd stuff, so it fits. It's fine. It's not that big of a tangent. But I'll see you guys. I think it's still a decent amount of time, so it might be tomorrow, it might be later. It is 11:39, so it's still tomorrow. So I really did good today. So that is great. I'm gonna get some water. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. So yesterday, there were a couple things. Well, there was actually one thing that I didn't end up getting to, which, no surprise. Not even because I'm high. If you've been watching from the beginning, you know that it doesn't take weed for me to go on a million tangents. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about yesterday was actually these journals. I mentioned them before, the dream journal, stuff like that. But I will still be saving that because I think it's worth having like a longer segment. So I wanted to make this one short to kind of jump into tomorrow because, of course, nothing's really happening. So I want to I'm going to make an attempt because I don't know if I actually mentioned the fact that during my edits of the last vlog, I was going to say podcast, the last vlog, I realized that junk was like 2 hours long, longest one yet. So I definitely don't want to go that far. But these came in today, all of my little trinkets and stuff. So I got my tempered glass, I got my dual battery charger, plus other really cute, precious little baby blue battery, got the protective housing, and I got the roll cage. So I'm excited to check these out. Obviously, haven't done anything with the GoPro. Today was spent editing. I decided to go with my Let's Discuss video, because I had the one for the collector's editions, of course sparked by the broken baby edition of Death Stranding. So I uploaded that, so that was pretty cool to at least have a video. I did film last night. I did do Jedi Fallen Order. It was an interesting video, because I was having fun doing it, but I was like, I don't know if this is actually entertaining, because I was having a blast, because I'm like, for me, it was just like, because I love the game, I love Star Wars, but if you're not like really into Star Wars, I was just like messing around. I went into like some really deep nerd stuff where I was like, because what I realized, the way they have their battle grid set up, when you put characters in, they're in their own boss battle. So if you put in Cal's, his master, I was trying to think of the term, if you put his master in, he can't die during those battle grid things because his AI is that he's like a spiritual thing. Like, it's more for story. Like, you're not actually supposed to beat him as a character. Like, you fight him, and I think they had to have used the first version of him, because I think you fight him twice in that game, and I think technically you can overcome, like, it's a mental thing. Like, if you've seen Empire Strikes Back, or even if you've seen like Rise of Skywalker, when they fight like other Force users or versions of themselves, it's always like a Force fighting vision. It's like that. But I think you can technically win the second time, but this has to be the first version of him because he can't die. Like, he has no health bar. All he does is block everything. And he has this really creepy walk where he'll make strides, and because you can put other enemies in there, he can walk towards them, and it looks like he's moonwalking. Like, he'll be walking forward instead of backwards, but he'll be walking, and I'm like, he took one step, but he's like sliding across the ground. But that doesn't happen when he's only fighting you. Like, you see him and he has this menacing look and he slowly walks towards you, and it's meant to be that mental game. And when you throw him in like battle mode, it's super weird. So I was like, I spent a lot of time talking about that, like, oh wow, like he looks at your character, or he'll look at the other characters because they're technically fighting, but he'll be walking towards you because his AI is meant to be attached to you as Cal Kestis. So it was really weird seeing that. And like, one of the bosses, his health got low enough, and then another character came in because in the actual context of the game, the guy is so powerful, you have to have assistance. So another character ends up coming in, and she can like teleport around, so she's not like just standing there. And I was like, his health got low enough, and then she just showed up. I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, this is so weird. It's not, they didn't change the AI for their battle mode, so the characters still have their stuff. So that's something they need to tweak, because it's like, you can't really do anything with it. It's just like, well, I'm going to put this guy in and he's invincible. Or if I put this character in, once his health gets low, actually, it's only if you attack him. So if the AI characters attack him, his health goes down normally, and the other character, she doesn't come in. But if you fight him, I think you have to push a specific button to like basically ask for help. And then she'll come in and hit him, like from the side or something like that. And I assume she can hit other enemies too. She just shoots a blast out. But I would assume if someone happens to walk in the path, they can be attacked by that too. And it was just weird. I was like, this is really interesting. And so I went into a lot of like weird meta stuff, like, oh, the AI, you can see this. And like, you can see things that you wouldn't normally see if it was in the context of the story. Like characters dying. They ragdoll. That doesn't happen for boss characters. You don't see them die. You go into a cutscene when they're defeated. So it was really weird. Like, you see them get defeated, and then boom, lightsabers just drop on the ground, and their body just like is all glitching out, and it's just like lightsabers on the ground. I'm like, huh. So that was mostly what I ended up going into when I was playing that game. And I played like a tiny bit of the story, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to redo it. Also, it's not really a New Game Plus. I'm pretty sure I talked about that last night, about the weird cosmetic thing where it's like, it's kind of New Game, but it's not New Game. It's not. I don't know why they really call it that, but you get all the cosmetic stuff, none of the moves. So it's like, it's still the same game, you just have different colors. And you get the cool appearance of the Inquisitor outfit. I love that, and it automatically gives you a red lightsaber, and it's sweet. It looks super cool. Like, I fought the first boss, and I was like, oh, it's actually kind of cool. You see two red, lightsaber users fighting. Cool aesthetic. But I was like, you don't get all the powers. And I think I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but God of War did the same thing, and they have it set to cutscenes where you can, when they eventually made New Game Plus, you still get, you start over, it's actual New Game Plus. You have all your upgrades, all your armors, all your weapons, all your powers, and they just set it to the story. So it's like, oh, well, this thing that's literally in the first, like, area of the game, you come back to way later when you get a different power, so you can get there. If you try to do that in New Game Plus, it'll just say, you can't access this area yet. And they just set it to the story instead of the actual weapon. So they still would have to work on that, and I hope that happens, because otherwise, you really are just playing it brand new. You just have different costumes. So it's like it's more like New Game, I think I said this, but it's more like New Game Extra than like New Game Plus. Like, there's some stuff you get, and it's like, oh, that's cool, but that's really it. But that's it for tonight, so save these for tomorrow. Probably heard that little knock. I don't know what they're doing, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so it is Friday, everybody. Not much really happened today. Once again, bunch of editing. Gonna try to keep with the succinct thing, much like yesterday. So, simply put, yesterday, because I didn't mention this, and it was not because I was high, it was just, if you've been watching this from the beginning, I don't need to be high to go on a million tangents, although I think I did good. I actually put that last piece on my computer today, and so I was like, okay, 6 minutes. I still feel like I talked about only one thing, but I also don't really remember, because even when I'm sober, once again, it has nothing to do with being high. I just forget. I just talk, and then that's what these are about. But I know I didn't mention the extension. So Michigan is going until May 28th. So we are not as close as I thought to getting out. I'm fine with that personally. I've mentioned it a bunch. I'm very fortunate, so I don't have to really worry about that. the government isn't really giving other people money, so people have to worry about that. That's why we've been having the crazy protests, and people are super mad. Gretchen Whitmer, I'm trying to figure out what her name was. But someone made the song. You've probably heard it. It's been big on the internet. Granted, it's a Michigan thing, but if you look up Big Gretch, it's a really silly thing. Like, she's getting a lot of support, and then of course there are the people that are mad. So it's really half and half, and it's funny. It's just crazy all around. But got the extension, so we're going to May 28th. I would assume that that's a Friday. Maybe that's why it wasn't until the 30th or something, because I'm like, people were like, well, why not the 28th? I didn't bother checking. That's not what I do. But I was like, that must be why. It's just to put it up to a Friday instead of just being like, well, let's go to the end of the month. It's like, let's go until this day, and then we have the weekend, and then we start up work. The funny thing that happened about that, though, was my boss called me. So he called me. I don't know what I was doing. Missed the phone call. He left a message. So I saw his name, and I was like, oh, that can't be good, because, I was like, is he about to say, like, we're going to have to stop paying or something? I was like, oh, crap. And he was like, hey, just calling to check in, see how you're doing, see if you're ready to almost get back to work. And that was before the extension came in. And I was like, man, he called me about work and stuff, and that's what he gets. Call me trying to kill my mood. Like, hey, see if you're ready to get back to work. I don't want to be there. I don't want that. I like this. I like having money for nothing. I like having money to, it's 11 o'clock now. I wouldn't be on the clock, but you know what I mean. I filmed during a lot of times during the day. So yeah, I was like, man, why did he call me and ruin my time? And then I was like, extension. So I thought that was really funny. I should have called him back, but I never did. And that was like Friday night. So I'm like, I don't think that's going to end up happening anymore, but it is what it is. It's, I might just message him. That's always the weird thing I was thinking about. I was like, it's always weird. It's especially weird now. It's weird in general, where you're just like, all right, I genuinely missed that call, because I would have picked up. And then classic thing, editing. Of course, I got to my editing, and then I was like, I got to finish this and do this stupid thing. Freezing this, freezing that. Finish, cool. Oh, it's like 5 something, and he probably called like 3 hours ago. I was like, well, it's after his, work hours and stuff like that. I would assume, in considering his role in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure he's still kind of moving around a bit. So I was like, all right, I'll wait. And then it was the weekend now, and I'm like, do I call him back, or do I just not respond at this point? So I'm probably just going to text him tomorrow, like, hey, sorry I missed your call and, didn't get back to you. Or so I'm going to say something, because that's genuinely what it was. It was like, I missed the call, and then I was like, all right, I'll call him in a minute. I just want to finish editing. And I should have thought of that before I even went into it. But this is ruining my succinct thing. So anyway, that happened. I thought it was funny. The extension hit. But the thing that I didn't talk about last night, that I talked about a while ago, were these little journals. Dream journal. This is dream journal. This is high journal. So I'm at some point, there's not much in here right now. It's only like a couple of things. But at some point, I'm going to do a full video on my Invisible High channel for this one. So I'll read a little bit out of this. There's literally only like a page. And I got this from Loot Crate. That's why it's Superman. It's actually like a Superman little notebook that he had. So there's like a whole little mini story in here and stuff. And it's really cool. I haven't read it, but I thought that was cool. Anyway, Dream Journal. So, started doing also Loot Crate. Napoleon Dynamite. Terrible item. It's a horrible item. They gave us a flimsy freaking composition notebook with some drawings on the front and back. This is a terrible item. This sucks. They shouldn't have put this in there. But I was like, I might as well use it because it's here. So, dreams. On May 1st, 2020. I dreamt I lived in... Okay, so this is a weird one. I had a dream that I'll read the whole thing, but simply put, I had one of those dreams where you die, but it wasn't like, oh, I died, and it was like, whew, I woke up, or I died, and it was like, oh, okay. It was weird. It was weird. So, I dreamt that I lived until the entire universe was gone, or seemingly universe. It was just black, so, I just put entire universe in the thing. I relived Earth's last day, being able to see kind of different things and how people have different feelings and perspectives. I don't remember too much of that, but I do remember seeing it twice. At the very least, I remember like going through the same thing like 2 separate times, like, okay, everybody's dying, and it was like, okay, everybody's dying again. So I remember going through it twice. And then of course I felt odd when I first woke up because I experienced death and nothingness. And it, like I said, it wasn't just like I died. It was really weird. Like I woke up and I genuinely felt different, and it was very odd. And it was like in my dream, I like died, the second time, I guess I died. Maybe. I don't know. Because it was this weird thing where I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure we all just died. Like we saw like a comet or whatever, hit Earth, everything's gone, and there was nothing. It was just blank. It was just blackness, and I was just kind of like floating and thinking to myself, and I was in like the early stages of like, am I dead? Or, like, am I actually dead? Did I, like, survive? Because I'm in a dream, so I was having these weird thoughts, like, maybe I'm alive, but I can't see anything. It's just darkness. So I was still in that early stage of, like, am I dead? Am I alive? Is being dead just absolutely nothing? And you literally, it's like you're just awake and alone forever. So I didn't get too far into that where, like, it drove me crazy, but it was weird. And, like, I woke up, and it was just crazy. Like, the only thing I could think to really equate it to, I didn't write it down, but I know the feeling. It's a weird thing to describe, but it was like when you watch a bunch of YouTube videos. Sorry, I hit the camera there. It's like when you watch a bunch of YouTube videos, typically everything's 30 frames per second. So you go through 30 frames, and then a random video pops up and it's 60 frames per second. And so it only takes you like 1 second to register that it's different. But for like that 1 second, because, your brain can move 1,000,000 miles a minute, you can think of like a trillion things in like a split second, which typically, comes in the form of when people are high and they're like, we're still listening to the same song. It's that sort of thing. Like, you can do that. And so when you have that split second where it's like, this is a little off, something's weird, and then you're just like, oh, it's 60 frames. Like, you notice it. It only takes a second, maybe not even a full second for you to register that. But for a split second, it's just like, oh, that's weird, because you've been, it's just been like 30 frames. And that's what it was like when I woke up. That's the only thing I could think to truly describe it, was like, visually, when I was moving, it just looked like, it looked different. And like, I was moving around, and I was like, it looks too fluid. Like, it was weird. Like, that's the best thing I could think to describe it. It was like, it looks too fluid as I'm moving. And obviously I was just like looking at the covers. I was like, oh crap. And I blinked, and then, it faded away. It was longer than like the 1 second. It was genuinely like, whoa, I blinked, and then it was still like that. And then it kind of just like, my body readjusted or something weird. But that was a crazy dream, because I'd never felt like that. I don't really even remember having any dreams where I've died anyway, to be totally honest. Of course, we barely ever remember our dreams anyway. That's why I wanted to do this, because I thought it was a cool idea. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I actually got the idea from a video where they were talking about how to have lucid dreams. And one of them was like it was a bunch of stuff. It was like, go to sleep and wake up and do this. I was like, I'm not about to do that. I'm going to be super tired. Because it was like to go to sleep and like set an alarm where you keep waking up at this specific like REM sleep and stuff like that. I was like, I'm not about to test that theory. Like, I barely get enough sleep as I was like, F it. But I was like, I'll do a dream journal though, and I'll do that. So that was interesting. The second one I had, also interesting. This was the next day. So I was in my apartment. It was like a weird altered version of the apartment. And so it was like my mom and one of my best friends, they were like watching TV in the bedroom, and I kept being bothered by this ghost. And so it was super weird. So I have it all kind of down here. So it started with me thinking that my jacket got caught on something as I was throwing something away. Because I was like, the way my thing is set up is like just a straight line. Like, if you've seen the old vlog, you've seen it, but it's just one of those super thin kitchens. You go in, it's a straight shot. So you go in, very end, it's just the little door to like my washer, dryer, and then my trash on the side. So I was throwing something away, and I had like a hoodie, and it didn't make any sense. Obviously, it was a dream. It was crazy. And so it was like my hoodie got caught, and I'm like, what is happening? And it was like really caught. Like, I was pulling and nothing was happening. And I'm like, I'm literally like leaning backwards as I'm trying to like fight this thing. And then eventually it lets go, and I'm like, that was weird. My hoodie got like really stuck on something, and I threw the thing away. And so as I'm going through, they're watching TV and stuff, just to have all of my very specific details in here. So it ended when I was grabbed. So I was walking down the hall. I was walking back towards the bedroom, and something like grabbed my leg. And so it wasn't like, oh, something grabbed my leg. It was like a horror movie. Like, something grabbed my leg. Like, if you've seen The Conjuring, like when the girl gets pulled out of the bed, it was that. Like, something grabbed my leg, and I fell, and I could not get up. And I was like, one leg was up, and I was basically like, holy crap, I can't. I was trying to like crawl away, and one leg was up, and then the other leg went up, and then I was like fully upside down. And after that was when I was like, I screamed for help pretty much. And then I woke up in a sweat, which was the second time that night. The first time was normal. So it was really weird. Like, it was just the fact that it was super hot. But that one freaked me out too, because I was like, holy crap. That I like, as soon as I woke up, it was like the whole thing, or at least like the scary parts, I remembered. So that annoyed me. I was like, cool. I have like creepy ghost dreams now. So that sucked. I didn't enjoy that one. I have another one, but I'll save that. Skip to one of the funnier quotes. Also, this is property of 69. I was high when I wrote that. I still think that's funny. That's really good, actually. First day, 4/25/20. First thing I put, Bayonetta is amazing. That's true. Excuse me. I also had a good joke, but I lost it. And then I put LOL 69. Hilarious. And then I wrote a little arrow to the joke thing that I forgot. And it was, I made the 69 joke knowing something. I thought I had a little lump in there. Let's see what else I got. I only got like 2. I might do some tonight. I'm going to do some videos. That was another thing that happened today. This is not succinct at all. I really tried. I had one day. But, yeah, screw it. We're already here now. That's the point. Let's see. Historical events I wish I was high at. Oh, the first elevator test. Crazy video. That's actually a good one. I shouldn't have done that. That is very not succinct. So, the first elevator, I already knew this, but I was watching some YouTube video. Maybe it was Fact Fiend with Carl Smallwood. That's a really good YouTube channel. You should check it out. And so they were talking about elevators, or they were talking about something, and eventually they got to like the dude that made the elevator. So the guy that made the first ever elevator, it was basically like, all right, they have pulley systems, people get hurt, ropes snap, or, you can't pull the weight, people get crushed, all sorts of terrible things happen. So he was like, all right, why don't I invent this thing? Why don't I invent this thing that stops elevators from crashing? And so I think technically he didn't invent the elevator. He invented like the system that we have that stops elevators from just fall, free fall. So basically what happened with that was he made it. It worked. It was a great idea, but people were just like, why pay more money? So he did this test, and it was like, it was like a fair type of deal. He had a test where he was on an elevator by himself, and it wasn't like obviously built up. It was just a flat platform. It went up, and it was like, okay, I'm up here. I think it was probably only 2 stories or whatever, 2 or 3 stories high, on an elevator, just in the middle of a crowd. Everybody gathered around, had someone cut a rope, and it just drops, and it catches, and it's like, that's my invention. And then he's a quadrillionaire, and that was like, that's the most ballsy thing ever. That, I see it on the internet a bunch, but like the people that tested the first ever bulletproof vest, like they have a picture of that, and it's like, they just shoot it with the person on it. It's like, well, I wouldn't want to be high at that one, but if I was high at like the first elevator dropping, that would have been a crazy moment. So wrote that in there because I thought of that, and I was like, man, that would be a crazy moment. Like, it's crazy. Like, the things we have that shock us now are so minimalist compared to the things that have happened in the past. Going from no television to television, no radio to radio, which that was so long ago. Like, there's no one alive that knows the difference now, from no radio to radio, I mean. But it's just interesting. Like, the things that we have, it's cool. We have cameras and stuff. We have YouTube. We have, music that you can play through little, earpieces and stuff like that. People technically use like glass and bits and pieces to make technology and, make phones and all this crazy stuff. And it's really interesting. It's so incremental, it seems, but it's interesting to see like the little things that we get. Like, what's the next big thing? Like, we're living in a big moment right now, but invention wise, cool stuff, not people dying and being trapped in your house, but cool things. I'm curious what the next like really big thing is. Like, I know the space stuff is huge. Who knows how that's going to work, but it's just funny, like, man, what crazy moments in history would be like, let me be high at this. That would be interesting. Like, Pompeii. I'm sure a bunch of people were high there. I think I heard, probably from Dave and Chuck, Dave mentioned going to Pompeii, and it was like, there's one of the many sex rooms in Pompeii, and there's just like, you can see like the dead bodies, just like, these people were doing doggy style. Lava came in. This dude was jerking off on the floor. Lava came in, and you're just frozen in time, banging or jerking it by yourself in the crazy sex room of Pompeii. And it's like, I'm sure some of those people were probably high. Just, random guess, of course. But it's like, that's an interesting thing. That's a crazy fate. But I will count that as somewhat being succinct. I said everything I needed to say. Read a couple journal entries. These are good. I still have one more. I have like a super long one that I wrote from the 3rd. Like, it went all the way to like the half of this. You also may notice I write everything in cursive. If I write in print, it's horrible. And if I write in cursive, it's all right at least. So that's why I like to write in cursive instead of print. Once I learned that, I was like, man, I can do this. I can do this because I am not good at writing in print. I don't know why. It just never stuck with me. Like, I mean, it's not like I don't know how to spell in print, but for some reason, I just can't do it. It just doesn't look as good. I feel like I always do the spacing really, really bad. Like, it's just weird. I cannot write well in print, but totally fine when it comes to cursive. Plus, everything's literally stuck together, so it makes it easier for me to just be like, that looks pretty, because I don't have, like, the kerning, which is a lettering term. Like, the spacing isn't, it doesn't look off. So, cursive it is for me. Everyone should learn cursive, although I know that's not really much of a thing anymore. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, we type so much, I guess you don't really need to learn how to write in cursive. You do need to know how to write, at the very least. Please learn how to write if you don't know how to write yet. But yeah, I think that's it for, I think it's still, I think it's only 10 something. Yeah, so it's 10:48. So I did really well today. I didn't do it at midnight. Oh, the thing I forgot, not too succinct. Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I did do a video of that yesterday. I hated it. I just didn't like the video. I was editing today. I did actually take a bit of time to learn one of the new programs because Power Director's been pissing me off. But I was kind of doing both at the same time. I'm like, all right, I know Power Director, so I'll just start with that. Every time it freezes, I'll hop over. Doing the same video, too, is for the Jedi Fallen Order thing. The thing I use, DaVinci, I think I mentioned that, just straight up died on me. Like, it literally, I was like dragging something and it just closed. It wasn't like it froze and then it shut down and closed. I was just like, and the whole thing just went off. I was like, I know it did not just turn off. And then I got super mad. And then I just went to Power Director. And my new janky audio setup that I had actually worked out pretty well. So unfortunately, I have to stick with that. I would have preferred to just go with my audio, but or using my microphone, but can't trust Audacity. And also, Audacity is the thing that seems to be the problem. It doesn't seem to actually be the video, which is what everything said. The video drifts from the audio, which is true. That's technically what happened. But when I was doing it and I used the audio, so I used my microphone on my little Zoom recorder thing. It's an external recording device. When I put that audio in, I didn't have any problems. It synced up with the video, and then that was it. And it wasn't connected to the camera, it wasn't anything else. It was just the microphone I'm using now. I just switched it to something else, recorded that. I still had my mic with Audacity, and so of course I tested both. And I was like, all right, things sync up. And then the Audacity audio suddenly would go out of sync. And I was like, huh. So it is Audacity, it's not actually the camera. So now that I have a somewhat solution, still have to work out the kinks to make it sound as good as my microphone does, because this isn't really meant to be like a decent epic gaming microphone. But you do what you got to do with a brand new channel, and that means I need to get high tonight and make some videos, because I had one video, it was Jedi Fallen Order, and I got mad. I was editing, super annoyed with all the pauses and closing and this and that, and then I finally got to it, and I was just like, I just like skimmed through, and I was like, this is bad. I was like, nothing in here is like actually funny. It's just me being a nerd about Star Wars, but not in like the most entertaining way. And I was just like, nah. I just canned it. I just canned the whole thing. So I'm gonna have to get high tonight. We'll see what happens if I can, pull out a video tomorrow and actually pull this one off. But I'm gonna do I don't know. I'm thinking of doing Uncharted because I have all the games. Perfect excuse to play through the Uncharted collection. I got it for like $10 2 years ago, I think, and I haven't played it. So I'm like, it's probably time. It's time to just go through 1, 2, and 3, which I haven't played in years. Do 4 again. Do Lost Legacy. I can do the whole entire franchise except for the PSP game, which they really should have put on the collection. But I can do the whole franchise minus PSP. And it'll be all on the channel. So I think that'll be good. I love those games. They're fun to play. I might do some online stuff eventually. But who knows? But I think I'll either do that. I'm definitely going to do that because I actually really want to play the Uncharted games because I like them so much. So I'm going to do that. Uncharted games and then just random games here and there. I got to do tabs again for sure. That was a good first video, even though I've recorded forever. I'll shrink that down. Instead of recording for like an hour and a half, I'll probably just do 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something. I'll do something. I won't like record for like an hour and a half because that was just ridiculous. And I cut it down to like 30 minutes anyway, but it was 420. It was a wild time. But yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. Not succinct at all. Surprising amount of things that happened. I probably should have made a list like, hey, this happened, instead of just being succinct, like, I'm gonna do this and then we're done, I probably should have been like, I'll be succinct, but with a list so that I can go through things instead of forgetting the journal and stuff like that. And then having a bunch of random stuff come up. Granted, things happen every day, so that's kind of the point of not having the plan for these vlogs. I should never make plans. Every time I make a plan for anything on YouTube, it fails. I shouldn't have done that. Screw succinct. It is what it is. And today is Saturday, so no, it's Friday. I'm dumb. It's Friday right now, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Welcome to the end of the week, everybody. As you can see, I'm wearing my silly Vegas LED glasses. Just wanted to wear them today, just because it was silly. And it's a really, really cheap way to plug my other channel. Please check out Invisible High. I actually did do some videos yesterday. I ended up playing the Tower of... It's either the Tower of Deadly Monsters or the Deadly Tower of Monsters. I can never remember. But I got my PS Plus, so I was like, all right, I'll go ahead. I'll do that as the video. I was going to do Uncharted, and I was like, started the PlayStation up. I only downloaded 2 games from all the PS Plus games that I've finally had back from this very limited run, because I think it ends on the 18th. So I was like, all right, let me see when it goes off. And I was like, all right, I downloaded these 2 games. I should just do these for the channel because they're both silly games. So it's going to be the Deadly Tower of Monsters, if that's the right name, or it's going to be Not a Hero. It's actually going to be both. So I don't know why I said or, but it's going to be that, and it's going to be Not a Hero, which I played like a little bit of this tutorial. This seems silly and fun, and it's Devolver Digital, so they do all sorts of wacky stuff. That's the Hotline Miami people. So they make good games, so I'm looking forward to that based on like the tiny little bit that I tested out in the tutorial. It's like, okay, seems silly. You start off, you play like a British dude, like a Cockney British guy, and I was like, all right, it's got some personality, so I might want to check out all these crazy characters. There's like a bunch of different people in the game, all killers and whatnot. But yeah, it's gonna be both of those. Presumably, if I get through both games. I think they're both fairly short games, so we'll see what happens. I think I got through about 2 hours of the Deadly Tower Monsters last night. I'm gonna do some more tonight, and who knows how fast it's gonna be. I feel like I got fairly far, because it's a simple game. It's not like it's insanely tough, but it's really silly. Please check it out. Actually, it won't be up by the time you guys see this, because I'm actually going to put this out first, but it'll be up in a couple of days, so definitely check it out. But yeah, it was a fun game. It had to start over, of course, because I played like an hour of it 3 or 4 years ago, so restarted it, and it was fun. Definitely some silly stuff, very schlocky. It's like a 50s. It's a video game that's technically the DVD commentary version of a 50s movie, and it's a space movie, so of course it's got like they talk about like how dinosaurs have to look a certain way and this and that, and it's like you're on an alien planet. It doesn't matter what the dinosaurs look like, but you're also using real dinosaurs. Silly stuff like that, and like not being able to pay actors and stuff, even though they're like 1/3 of like the whole movie, and it's just like just so tough. We couldn't sign him on or pay him or even put his name in the credits in any way, shape, or form, but boy, he did a lot of good work. Silly stuff like that. So I love the game. It's really fun, and they mess with you. Like if you're standing still, the director will make random commentary like, yeah, I really wanted them to stand around and do nothing. Like take in the scene and listen to the music. So they have a bunch of cool stuff like that if you're just moving around. I literally did one by accident where I was running in circles, as you do in games, and they even made a comment about that where it was like, yeah, I told them to just spin really hard, just spin like your life depends on it. I'm like, they just put dialogue in for the most random perfect gaming things, like the things you just do because you're being silly while you're playing a game, you're waiting or whatever, ending out a video, and you just run in circles. We all do it. Like it's a thing in gaming. If you can spin in circles, that's almost a test. You have to see how fast you can make the character like spin around. It's almost a given. But that was really cool, so I'm looking forward to playing both those games. Not much really happened today. I ended up watching like the first 2 episodes of the 100. Ended up watching them, and I'm like, wow, looking on this show, it's very interesting. It's funny to see the characters when they were younger and stuff like that, or characters that have died, and some of the characters are actually actors that you remember from other shows later, and you're like, I forgot they were on this show. Like there's a cop in the show iZombie on the CW, because people, if you work on the CW, you're gonna end up on another CW show. It's almost a given. But he's like the weird emo cop in iZombie, for anyone who watched that show. That guy was like a security guard in the first episode of the 100, and I was like, that's nuts. That's really crazy. So that was really funny. It was just funny seeing like other actors, and I'm like, I recognize these people now from other things that I've seen them in more recently. So that was cool. I love that show. I can't wait for it to come back. That I don't think I mentioned yesterday, but found out all the CW shows are back. They've been back for weeks. Don't remember if I said that at all, but that was cool. Caught up on some Flash, caught up on Legends, so I'm very excited for. I'm curious about the Flash season finale. I couldn't believe it, honestly, when it was like, it's the season finale. I was like, really? Because this season, it's been a minute, so I haven't had like my weekly progression. So it's been a minute since, admittedly, like the first half of the season, which I think it was the doctor guy, which he recently came back. They like showed him, they showed the actor. But like I saw the actor and I was like, oh, okay. Forgot that he was the first half of the season. And then they said season finale, and I'm like, is this really a threat? Like where they are right now, there's like no stakes. There's no nothing. Like I felt nothing. Like technically it's intense, but I feel like because of the big break we've had, it almost feels like I'm still at the beginning of the season. So it's really weird. Like it killed my impact for the season because I'm like, oh, it's ending now. But it's like, no, if I was still going, I guess no, going to the season finale. No, this is not. It's not that great to me, honestly. Like where they are now, I wouldn't expect that to be like the season finale. So we'll see what happens. I have no anticipation for it, and it doesn't feel like anything's happening. So I'm curious what's gonna happen when I go back to like Batwoman and Supergirl. Actually, no, Legends is great. Legends is just perfect. Like Legends is the best show. So yeah, I think it's just the Flash. Just the Flash is just like, oh, I just don't feel any impact because I loved everything that was happening in Legends of Tomorrow. They have a fantastic season right now. I feel like everybody doesn't really watch that show. I feel like that's the one everyone needs to watch. Like they bring in characters from the other shows, and people get swapped in and out and time wiped. Like it's insane. I love that show, and there's so many nods to it, to like previous characters or seasons when they're just doing so much stuff, references to all sorts of crazy crap within the entire DC universe, which obviously Crisis on Infinite Earths did that, so there's that. But really cool, really great show. But yeah, I'm not excited for the Flash season finale, and that sucks. I really like the Flash as a superhero. He was always my favorite. Super speed, I love super speed, so it was like Flash is my favorite, and he's funny, so it didn't hurt. Like he has like my favorite superpower, and he was like the funny guy, so I was like, yeah, I like him the most. He's better. But I've learned, as much as I love Flash, Wonder Woman is not my favorite. So Flash is still second. I appreciate him. All the versions of the Flash, they're all great, but I realize it's Wonder Woman, so it's fine. But we'll see what happens. Stargirl is coming up soon. Excited for that. Don't know what's happening with Supernatural. I was surprised that wasn't back because I knew before everything shut down that they were already. They only have to film the last 2 episodes, so they have episodes. They just have to edit them. But I guess it's just different locations we're doing it. So don't know when that's coming back, but I got some shows to catch up on, which is interesting. Feels weird to actually have shows to watch now outside of just Clone Wars. So interesting, but that's pretty much the end of the week. Starting tomorrow, there's going to be some stuff to look forward to. Really only like one thing. I got something else. I figured out my eBay problem, and I'm very excited for it. I think I mentioned that yesterday, but I'm very excited for this item, and it should be here next week. I actually have some other stuff coming in. Simple things. I got a GoPro thing. But yeah, I'll just let you guys know what it is when it gets here, I guess. But I got a GoPro thing. I got another one. And actually, I kind of got 2 GoPro things. That one was from GoPro. The other one I just got. Because I think it'll help make some really pointless videos. But that stuff will be coming next week. And then the big thing, I'm looking forward to that one. So we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully it gets in time. The person shipped it like the day I got it. So that was pretty cool. But we'll see what happens next week. For now, that is the end of week 7, if I'm not mistaken. We're still going strong. Hope you guys are staying safe. Finding some value in the really dumb things I do. And hopefully this will be over fairly soon. I mean, I know for me it's going until the end of the month. But hopefully for you guys it's a little better. And then hopefully overall it's just easier because it's crazy. It's wild right now. But thank you guys for checking this out. Would love to know what you guys are up to. I never asked that. I'm just always ending it, and I'm high, so I have to make sure I actually say something smart. But yeah, what are you guys up to? What are you doing to stay sane, stay safe? Even probably sane is the thing that people have to worry about. Staying safe tends to be simple enough. I guess it just depends on whether or not you're protesting. Yeah, that's your business. I don't care. Mostly because I'm staying in, so I don't have to, I don't have to deal with it just yet. But we'll see. But in all seriousness, hope you guys are staying safe. Like I said, I really would like to know what you guys have been up to, what games you've been playing, shows you've been watching. I'm not going to rewatch all of the 100, even though I would love to, because it's a great series. Highly recommend it. It's all on Netflix, 6 seasons. They're going into their final 7th season this year. Just saying, it's worth catching up on. But there's, I'm sure there are a lot of lives. But anyway, thanks for checking us out, and I'll see you guys next week.